What's going on, party people? It's another Schmoe Me the Real right here on What Real Entertainment. My name is Chris Anthony Lopez, representing Spin from the Real, one half of the shows that we got going on right on screen at this moment, because we have a bunch of guests joining us momentarily. But we have the usual suspects, not the Schmoedown usual suspects, but you know, the ones for the show. Joining me on the right side of your screen, right here, Suge Knight 323. Some of y'all may just call him Suge. What's going on, Suge?
What's going on? Late as usual. You know my life. I'm always late, running late. It is what it is. But thank you for having everybody here, especially the two guys on the bottom. Really appreciate them. No, actually, I don't. I'm lying. They're both fucking.
Hey,
assholes.
I was gonna be very nice to you, but the fact is, you just started it, so
Yeah,
we're a minute in.
Alcoholics.
60 seconds.
I don't know how I
5
am not
o'clock
gonna
shadow you
punch
got going
this
on.
man in the face this weekend.
Who? Which
oh,
one?
you're
Me or
not.
him?
You're not. Yeah, I'm not even worried about it because that's not going to happen. But anyway,
Yeah,
Bro,
my
that's
man
not
to the
gonna
left.
happen. Suge's so short, you're so tall. He's gonna come up. You're just gonna do that, and he's gonna swing. And just
Y'all keep thinking that. Y'all keep thinking that.
Suggs are trying to get in some trouble this weekend. But of
it's-
course, the two
it's-
folks
No,
down at the bottom.
he can't afford to.
Damn it, Buck! Let me introduce
can't
you before you
afford
keep
to.
talking. Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Mute me then.
On the bottom, on my ass.
Of course, he's the bottom.
Brandon Buckingham. Some of you might know him as Buck. I just want him to shut the fuck up. Jesus, we're here for 2 minutes. Buck, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. I'm just trying to get us off the rails. Like that's what I'm here.
Of course
for.
you are.
Because
Buck-
someone here doesn't include me as a host of this group.
Ooh.
Oh,
Buck,
it wasn't
Buck,
me.
you had me. Buck, you had me at just trying to get us off.
Excuse me. Yeah, it's Buck and his brown friends, all three of them on screen right now. And the other brown friend by proxy down there, bottom right corner of your screen, it's Geoff Alterman, but some of y'all might know him as Quiz Show. What's up, Quiz?
Yeah, it's great. I didn't realize that you were the brown friends. I'm colorblind, so it's hard for me to determine that sort of information.
That's arguably more fucked up, but we'll talk about that off screen. That's not great.
Where
That's
are you?
not
Are you in a closet? What's happening?
Me? My
Yeah,
room is
he's trapped in the closet, Jeff. That's
yeah. This is my room. I want to get up before I expose.
You know, R.
that I'm
Kelly's
not
sang a
wearing
whole
jeans.
ballad about you.
Me? Like, yo, I'm not gonna talk about that. But we're joined by a bunch of people in the back. Dragon 17, what's good?
It really
that
was.
first brown friend moment. That was S tier Schmoe Me the Real moments. And maybe the only one. Like that. I think that's its own. The fact that
I don't
Brandon
know. We've had some pretty phenomenal guests this year that had some pretty great things to say.
Oh yeah, and
that
maybe
I think could qualify as S tier.
And maybe, just maybe, we can make some more tonight because we have a bunch of friends in the back hanging out. 4 at the moment, but then as the show goes, we'll have some more people coming in from different after shows, maybe some competitors. Who knows?
Maybe.
But off the bat, we have from Mount Schmoedown. She's alimony without the divorce. It's Allison Salamoni.
What up?
That's right.
Hey.
Hey guys.
She's
What's
everywhere.
good?
I try.
Everywhere.
I try. I love it. How are you guys doing? Thanks for having me again.
Just
I'm
the herpes of the Schmoedown community. You just cannot get rid of
that is horrid quiz show.
Jeff,
And I
But it's
Dude.
facts. But it's true.
Let the record show that I invited Allison on this show. Like, Allison did not invite herself. She may tell you that she did. She did not. I invited
not
her.
this time. Not this time.
Not this time. No, And the other folks we have in the back, we also invited. They didn't invite themselves. First up, from Galaxy Geeks, we got our boy Luke.
What's
going
up,
on,
everybody?
dude?
Hey, thanks for having me on. First time on since the tournament talk. Yeah, with Suge.
Yeah, like the
Oh, yeah, that
unofficial-
was a
official
great
Spin from the
episode,
Real
fun.
episode.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then we got two of my favorite people. Kyle introduced it. These are two of my favorite people in the whole community. I love these guys,
Yo,
especially these two.
it may be a Monday, but it's any given Schmoe day. Anytime these guys are on the show together, it's our boy Dagan and the homie Corey Cameron. Look, Corey. I will never
You hear that, Dagan? You're not a homie. Just cool.
No, Dagan's my man. He already knows. But what's going on, you party people?
What's up? What's up? I'm glad to be finally a part of Buck's Brown Friend crew. So
I think Corey was in the chat when that happened, and he was one of the
Corey
people
was
like,
absolutely
what
in the chat when
freaking
that
hell
happened.
just happened?
I think Corey was the very first comment, like, what the fuck just happened?
Corey's just being nice.
Epic moment.
Corey's just being nice. He was like, "Oh, what's going on, guys? What the fuck am I watching now? Like what show is this?"
You
Like,
guys should
I
be
thought,
arrange this whole screen so that Buck can be surrounded by his brown friends.
hold up,
If-
give me a second. So we'll Buck there.
Yeah, Buck
We'll
and his
put
holy trinity.
We'll put Suge there.
There we go.
And we'll actually no, we'll put Suge back, and then we'll switch me and Luke.
There we
There we
go.
go.
I
go.
do have the tan, you know. I mean, have y'all seen my tan or not? I mean,
As far as I'm concerned, we're all Bucks Brown friends today. Every single one of us on screen. And shout out to the folks in the chat. Joseph Burrows, I see you. Jeremy Miller, Ashley, I see you in the chat. Egg Lord, Nikki.
Egg Lord.
Shout out to
Hi,
Egg
Nikki.
Hello,
Lord.
Nikki.
Taylor
Hi, Nikki.
Cleek in the chat. Ryan in the chat. What's going on, you party people? And to everyone watching, thank you so much. I know it's a Monday evening. We typically do these on Fridays and or a good Saturday, depending on the show. But Spectaculars this weekend. And a lot of us are going to be at the show, and we will not be able to do a proper Schmoe Me the Real. So we're doing it now in the Spin from the Real time slot, as we broke up the Holy Trinity of Brown friends. But I
Momentarily.
want to go around and I want to ask everyone's just general thoughts on season 8, especially leading up to this. We'll start with Luke up in the corner. Luke, what'd you think of the season, dude? Like we're done. Regular season's over. Spectaculars in a couple days. What'd you think, dude?
I think this season, if I were going to be honest, I think this season was matches were incredible, but the weirdest season that we've ever had. I felt like we really were missing some storylines. It really didn't feel like a full Schmoedown year like we normally had, because we'd had storylines, we had things coming up, like running up to it. Like right now with Spectacular, they're playing on so much stuff, and I'm super excited about it. But throughout the season, other than the matches, you don't really have anything to be excited about other than matches, because we really don't know what's going to happen at Spectacular.
Dude, that's totally valid. Suge, what do you think on season 8 as a whole leading up to this?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I get it. The whole storyline, Chris. You're a wrestling person. Dagan is for sure. I am a wrestling person. I'm kind of happy. I think this is one of the best seasons we had as far as gameplay, as far as natural storylines are concerned. Like there's natural storylines that just developed and manifested itself. So I actually think this is one of the best seasons ever in Schmoedown history, to be honest with you. I think the gameplay has been top notch. You have some of the best divisions in Star Wars. IG has been amazing. Singles has been amazing, and teams was awesome this year. And you have so many new stars that are going to be able to carry on Schmoedown for the rest for a while. So I personally, I think this has been one of the best seasons ever. And shout out to Mike Deacon.
Yeah, speaking of Geoff, the Chad Kroger of the Schmoedown, do you agree with Suge's sentiment on this being one of the better seasons that we've had in the Schmoedown?
So I'm of two minds about this. You might as well say I am at war with myself over this season of war. Yeah, look at Buck's face. Yeah, give up now, because I'm not stopping. And because like the gameplay itself, much like what Suge said, a lot of the gameplay was great. There was some incredible work done. It's seeing what some of the players do to prepare for these matches, the hours and hours of prep, getting to talk to some of them, and like just hearing how much work they really put into it, and it shows too in what we've actually seen on screen. Of course, there's limitations to digital stuff. So because we're so used to everything that was going on in person. On the other hand, yes, when it comes to storyline stuff, there were problems there. There were things that were intriguing. There were things that were fun, entertaining to see. My biggest issue is when the people at the top, and this isn't to like phrase it in a way that's meant to be, negative or talking bad about the people that are in charge of it all, but like when we get the feeling that the people at the top don't like the product that they're creating, it makes me less passionate about what we're actually watching. And if we're going to be seeing stuff that there's storyline things and halfway through I just couldn't do it anymore, I give up because I didn't like what it was doing. When things are in person again, we'll do it again. It makes me feel like, well, everything that we were invested in was kind of wasted. And as a result, I like the gameplay. I didn't really like much else because it made it feel like I don't like they didn't like the format, so why should I like it? If the creators weren't a fan of it, why should I be a fan of it? So that's why I'm of two minds of it. Like I'm mixed on it for the year.
Word. And Corey, how do you feel, brother?
Yeah, I echo the sentiment of it being a good year competitive wise. I think that kind of the digital age definitely highlighted that beginning of last year, season 7, and it kind of just continued this year. And I, as a fan, love seeing the kind of the changing of the guard a little bit with all of the new blood that's in the Schmoedown now. I see Brian Nussbaum had mentioned the rookies. Like, this was definitely the year of the rookies and all the new talent that has come into the Schmoedown. Even the second year players coming in and performing the way they did. I, as a fan, love seeing that. And even them going on to win belts. We see Thomas Harper and Marisol McKee with belts right now. They're both rookies. And that's just good for the Schmoedown, I think, just as a whole, just to see some new talent come in and kind of break up kind of the old guard that we have always been seeing.
Sure. And even, I mean, with Marisol's like half, like her season last year, like she had a lot of success. And going into this year, it was, I second that notion with like the whole changing of the guard. The future is now in the Schmoedown. And we're seeing that. We see a lot of that at Spectacular. Brandon, do you echo that sentiment?
Yeah. I think this season, I was trying to compile the math here, but I'm pretty sure this is the most matches we've ever had in a season. We had, in singles alone, we had 84 matches. 84 matches in the singles division alone. So that is, I just want to say this season, this is not a negative, but it was exhausting. It was exhausting trying to keep up with everything, because there was a period of time where we had several weeks in a row where we had like 5 matches a week. Some it could have ended up being 6, just depending on how the week transfolded. Like it's a lot to take in. Hands down, I think just some of the best matches we've ever gotten. Like the fact that we're only going to have 5 or 6 to choose from for match of the year. I don't even like, I've been thinking about the last few days, just going through my head. I'm like, there's at least 15 like amazing matches. Like, how are you going to choose 5 or 6? And then you got to choose one match that you will say is match of the year out of probably 140, maybe 150 matches across the 4 divisions. Like that's going to be tough. Christian, good luck with that. Trying to give us a selection of 5 or 6 to choose from for match of the year. We'll probably get at least one from each division, most likely, because Star Wars had so many amazing matches this year. Singles, just with the 84 matches alone, is just so hard to wrap my head around. Yeah, that's actually mine.
That's still mine too. Yep.
Same.
Hey. We all know what the best match is, and it's whichever one is the final match of the year, because that's what happens, right? It's recency bias, right? That's how we vote.
Yeah.
Right?
I know some people would say that match, in terms of the quality of the questions, they weren't
difficulty,
probably,
not quality. Quality is good.
The difficulty was probably not the toughest in the Star Wars division this year, but the fact is they both went 51. Like, it was 51-50. Like, it was just ridiculous. Like they just kept going back and forth. Like I actually haven't gone back and rewatched that match since I watched it live.
Was that the one where Demolanta had a challenge in sudden death that kind of stayed
yes,
the whole
that's the one that won. What's great about that is not just that it was an incredible perfect round game or a perfect match. It's that it was like, yes, that
There we
we've
go.
heard from some players that it was not necessarily the most difficult of matches for people in Star Wars.
Yeah,
But
I was
what we
trying
do
to-
know is that it was a fucking marathon. It was an endurance test. So it's funny, this whole thing of criticizing stuff like buttons and whatnot for who's able to do it. That's a physical aspect of it. That was a mental endurance test as much as a physical one, because having to make sure that you stay focused and you're breathing properly, getting through all that stuff like that to me is why that one, yes, to me too. It's the number one of the year.
Yeah, for sure.
And yo, Suge and Luke should emphasize that too. Like, this is maybe the best played season the Schmoedown's ever had. And even though some matches last year I still hold in high regard, because that's when I realized, holy shit, this is very competitive now. This year doubled down on that. So it's like what Brandon said. I don't envy folks who have to pick nominees for anything and have to pick 5 or 6 matches that are the creme de la creme of season 8. But again, it's not our job. Our job's to talk about them. Dagan,
Our job's to critique them.
that too. Dagan, what did you think
And
of season
talk
8?
shit. And
We're reactors.
I just watched that match the other day.
Dude, that is one of my favorite entrances of all time.
Do you?
We're
real quick,
reacting!
oh, but I wanna go. Oh wait, you're talking about that? Okay, never mind. Dagan, what'd you think?
Dagan, what'd you think, brother?
Yeah, so overall, I really enjoyed some of the matches that we got this season. I get sort of some of the criticisms that you guys have brought up, but I think a lot of that also might not necessarily be the fault of anybody in particular. It's just the way of what we've had to deal with over the last couple of years. And I know Christian has sort of talked about how originally, he had planned for this sort of digital era to only last a few months. And there was, no, he didn't want to do what he's had to do this year. And I think all the stuff that happened this year, if put in that sort of more live or studio setting, could have played out a lot differently. And I think he would have been able to do a lot more story and a lot more other angles and things that he wasn't able to get to this year, just because of the restrictions and everything still in place. So that aside, I think there have been some all-time classic matches that we've gotten this year, and we've also gotten to witness some pretty amazing moments history-wise in the Schmoedown. Kalinowski finally defending the belt, and not only that, multiple times. Also, obviously the big one that stands out for me is Marisol McKee winning the title and then defending it in New York. That's just such a massive moment, and it's something that I think we've all been really wanting to see for so long. Not only a woman singles champ, but also the first African American singles champ. So that moment to me stands out, I think, as like my moment of the year. But it's definitely overall, I think, match wise, as you guys have kind of all pointed out, it was one of the best seasons we've ever had in terms of gameplay and like new players coming in and everything. So,
And
yeah,
to
good
piggyback off
stuff.
of that, Dagan, this will be probably since season 3 or the first season at Collider, the most memorable season of the Schmoedown because of everything you just said and the things that other folks have mentioned, like the 5150, and of course Marisol winning the belt. There's so many great moments. Mike defending twice, IG that doesn't exist. But season 8, if you can say anything, it's memorable for whatever reason.
For sure. Obviously we talked about Alex Damon versus Demolanta 1. Let's talk about Demolanta Demi playing Alex Damon, or Demi beating Goal Leader, and that moment where she takes the repeat because she knows she's going to win, she to gather herself, or Goal Leader going to 2 finals, losing to Thomas Harper by 1 point,
one letter.
Ace,
because he
yeah,
can't
one letter.
spell. He lost because he can't spell.
Look at the Ace versus Harper match. Look at the what was it? Some of the matches that were lost. When Outsiders losing a couple matches where you were like, oh wow, them going, having a bad year. I know Corey's smiling right now because of the Den losing this year. Thanks, Corey, for reminding me. I don't really appreciate that. You're gonna do that to me.
Wow, I forgot about the Outsiders.
Yeah.
By the way, just to promote something for Suge. on Suge's TikTok, which you should follow. There's a great one, I believe, of when the Den were officially out of the running. I think there was one of him in the bathtub, just very
crying. Yeah,
I think you should all check
Crying.
that out.
But
yeah,
I think
at Suge Knight 323 on TikTok. Follow.
Yep,
Yeah, it's right there.
that's the user right there.
But I think all of us on here, a lot of us have been fans for a little bit. I've only been a fan for 2 years, but the newest fan, Miss Alimony down there, is a new fan. Came in halfway through the season. What has been your of the season, and what have you thought so far? I'm lost for words right now. But what have you thought so far?
I mean, I'm here, so obviously I got bit by something to keep getting into this and really diving deep with it. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, again, I came in not knowing the storyline aspects, not knowing I learned about the character aspect, but when it comes to like the storyline, things like that, I didn't really get a whole lot of it, but I got really fucking good gameplay. And I think that is kind of a big selling point of what made me stick around was the gameplay aspect of it. And is digital what everyone's been wanting it to be and as long as it's going to be. And like the more that I've kind of been around, I've been able to understand, like going back and watching old matches, I understand where kind of, I don't know if frustration is the right word, but where like people feel that things are lacking. I can get that, but at the same time, I've thoroughly enjoyed every single match that I've been able to watch. I've enjoyed being kind of on the back end of things too, and again getting to know players and how they study and what they're doing to get ready to compete. Honestly, I've thoroughly enjoyed it because I've gotten to meet so many really cool people. Like getting to be a member of Mount Schmoedown brought me over to hanging out with these Schmoes of the North guys, and joining in with them, and then meeting all of you on top of it. I think there's a plus to kind of everything with it. It's fun having my rookie season, watching the Schmoedown being the season of the rookies. As everyone knows, I'm a huge shill for Griffin Newman because I've known of him for years prior to this. And so I came in right at the same time that he was drafted and been just watching that meteoric rise because he's just been crushing it. Being in New York and watching Marisol as my first live event defend the title brought me to tears, which clearly everything does if you know me by now. So it's been I've had a blast with all of it. So I really have, I don't have a whole lot of complaints because I don't think I have enough experience to have thorough complaints, but all in all, I've been very impressed. But I'm also a dodo and don't know anything about movies other than I watch them.
Well, you're the first Schmoedown fan to not complain about Schmoedown, so that's rare.
Just wait.
Give her time because
give her time.
She is doing a complete watch through starting with season 3.
Why?
Hey,
caught up.
That's when I started watching, like season 3. So
I tried to start with
it was a good season.
And the very first episode, I was like, or the very first one, I was like, we're just gonna go when they get into
seasons 1 and 2. It's a segment on a podcast.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah,
so wait.
Mm-hmm.
Season 3 is kind of like the first season.
Allison,
right.
So when you're doing a full rewatch thing, or you said you were, so you started with the Merle Campia match.
Yes.
So what was it? Early this February on the What the Show channel, we did a drunk watch along to Cats, and when that was done, we were like, it'd be great watching the original first Merle Campia match. And if you watch it now, like for us who have like been paying attention for years to this now, going back and seeing that match, it doesn't matter what your level of sobriety is. You hear the questions versus what they are now. Like there's a question in there. It's like name an actor, actress, director, or editor of some shit from this thing that once came out 8 years ago. And
well,
it's
but
like,
you can tell that because I think I was messaging with Buck. I sent Buck because Buck was the one who told me that I needed to go back and watch all of these. So I sent him a message. I was like, you can tell the difference from then to now, not only with the questions, but with how competitive people are. It was clearly just Christian getting a bunch of his movie loving friends together to play bar trivia is what it comes across as. Like it wasn't, and then to where it is now, where like everyone has a Patreon with a study session in it, and like there's some that really, really take it seriously, and it's just another day of studying for them. And how the questions, I mean, I watched the questions evolve within the season. Like it's not even watching it evolve over 5 other seasons. You watch them change. Like it was a match one day, and then the next day you're like, where the fuck did these questions come from? Like what just happened? Like
that's my favorite thing with the matches is I'm thinking like PJ and his staff. I'm like, let's see what they're gonna like Saturday. I'm so pumped to see what they're gonna be bringing.
Oh yeah,
that's a barbarian in the chat.
Barbarian chat. And speaking of bringing it, I want to bring on another reactor who's been in this space. She's done amazing work with speaking of Schmoedown and some other shows. I forget what other show she was on, but we're gonna bring her on. She's awesome. We can ask her because that's what we do on the show, and that is Nancy.
Hey, Nancy.
What's up, Nancy?
Hey guys, how are you doing?
Doing all right. How are you?
Doing well now. I'm doing good.
Doing pretty good. I kind of woke up from a little bit of a nap, so I apologize.
No, get the crust out your eyes real quick.
Yeah, okay. Doing it.
I need a nap after work today. Nancy, we were talking to everybody about season 7 and what or season 7, 8. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
Suge doesn't know how to count sometimes. But
sometimes,
Suge doesn't know how to do.
All the time.
All the time. But kind of give us your impression of season 8 and what this year for Schmoedown has, what you've seen in this year of Schmoedown.
I feel like they kind of got in the groove in terms of the digital matches, which was really cool. And you're seeing a lot of rookies come in this year, which I absolutely love. Actually, I think it was a good way to bring in, you're bringing in fresh faces, fresh talent. And I think that's the only way that the league is going to evolve is by doing that.
Makes sense.
Yeah. The rookies this year have Brian said it in the chat earlier, and he nailed it right in the head. Obviously the best rookie season ever, of course. But we've gotten I know we'll talk about it later when we talk about the actual matches, but the Finstock Exchange built a year solely on a risk. But a lot of these rookies, and the Barbarian in the chat can second it. But
all because of the Barbarian and that goddamn dossier that we all keep hearing about.
Trust the dossier. Trust the dossier.
Well, I want to read it. I want to hold it. I want to love it.
It's worked.
Yeah, it really has.
I need to know.
So many folks came in this year, and they were rookies, and they crushed it. I mean, look at Amadou Moses getting drafted high, the Den getting Thomas Harper in the first round. These folks succeeded. They not all of them may have belts as of right now, but they will be. They will be belt holders sooner rather than later.
It's also like the this whole thing of they took a risk. Yes, it was a risk, but at the same time, you hear about the work that went into them studying to create the dossier.
Yes, I apologize. No risk, only dossier.
Yes.
No risk. I take that
it's
back.
on the one hand, without further context or more information, yes, it seemed like it was just a roll of the dice, just a big old gamble. But on the other hand, knowing exactly the kind of work that they put into the preseason, pre-draft to actually choose the people they chose, it's very obvious that for virtually everyone that they got, that paid off in spades. It was huge.
And Jeremy's in here. Jeremy
it wasn't luck.
Jeremy over here with the dossier has worked for everything besides winning belts this season, but it also put Finstock. But
I mean, they're playing for
give them the chance.
I mean, there's still time.
Look, I get a point.
They're number 1 right now.
Yeah, and
got
the
I also
winningest
got to
record
point
as
out
well.
they're playing for
by
2
a
titles.
large margin.
And they're
no,
sorry, I was just going to quickly say they're playing for 2 belts, and they haven't played for 2 belts for every other number 1 contender match. They haven't been able to capitalize on. The missing ingredient here, Griffin Newman.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hold up. Hey, I just want to point out something else too. Talking about dossier worked for everything besides winning belts. Okay. Well, first of all, let's back up a second and go through the year of the exchange just real quick, and please correct me if I'm wrong here. Okay.
Actually,
if you look at the actual paths of everyone involved in the exchange this year,
wild.
other than Rushmore in the tournament earlier this year, And they're the only other person that was able to actually attain belts before these fall tournaments was just the run for gold leader up until he hit Harper, right? So it's really just a matter of they had less opportunity, I feel, than other factions to actually get a chance to go for the belt, because I know that there was also JTE there in the gauntlet, but to me it feels like they had less opportunities than several other people to actually hit it. And even without as many opportunities, they blew through. They hit more wins. They hit more matches. They have more match wins I believe, than the bottom 3 factions combined, possibly. Like they have more points than the bottom 3 factions combined. Like
I believe it's 32-15. I believe is their overall record. And even
one of those losses is to their own, because they had to play their own
so
faction.
one of those, just like with corruption, just like for the exchange, one of each of those losses is basically like half a loss there. It's the exchange itself, like, damn, you talk about like, oh yeah, it didn't get a belt. Great. It still got them fucking 10 points ahead without a fucking belt.
I got you.
And you have a rookie. You have a rookie right now on that team that is combined 10-0.
Well, and remember this too, like, because they were all rookies, Christian had to start all these players from the bottom to play up. 2 belts.
Right.
And so that's why you don't see them getting belts, because they had to play up. Most other teams, they weren't using all rookies. They were using, like, all right, let's look at the den with Thomas Harper. Thomas Harper didn't have as far to get than some of these other rookies in singles. Like for Star Wars, there's just not as many players you have to play. But for singles, you have tons to get through. I mean, like this year, the worst player, and he wasn't even that bad, was Brother Lomas. And Brother Lomas only lost one, and then he came back and killed it. So it's just they had to move up. But I do have a question for the chat, or for the group right now. With the trying to grow the Schmoedown, because for me, I'm a big analytics guy. I like looking at how YouTube channels grow. I like seeing when watching how the Schmoedown was super big at one time, reasonings why it went down. We had a great rookie class this year. I'm talking great. But if you gotta be honest, none of them, other than maybe Griffin Newman, is bringing much to the table when it comes to like subscribers and viewers like in past seasons. Because y'all mentioned that in past seasons, Christian would just get his friends on to do movie trivia with him, but most of them brought a following with them. How do y'all see the Schmoedown growing with needing to bring new people in? Because you don't want to lose those rookies, but you also have to make this a product trying to get more subscribers, more people into the Schmoedown. Because if you've looked at the subscribers for the Movie Trivia Schmoedown channel, they lose subscribers monthly. They don't gain anyone. They're just losing people continuously. So how do you see the Schmoedown growing, but also not losing the rookies that we've gained?
I think just as a
popping in with the hard.
Well, let's answer the question, and then we'll bring our guest.
Yeah. Okay. So I think just as a new person, and what I could probably say from it is, I honestly think a lot of it is first of all, the switch, I think, digital, and how the year has kind of gone, because there's also not as much things for the viewer to buy into like there used to be with Patreons and things like that, with the different tiers and all of that. That's kind of been a big thing that's dropped people. But I think that I think limiting the amount of players and the amount of matches is going to be huge. Just in the sense of like, yes, there's some great players that really didn't get a chance to shine this season and may not get to next season because we're, dropping it down a little bit. But I think kind of they have to streamline it and streamline the amount of matches and get it back kind of more tight, so there's not another season of almost 200 matches. I think it's fatigue at this point. I think people are just kind of fatigued over it versus enjoying it for what it is. And once we get everything more streamlined, I think that might help more than anything else.
When I feel like that also is going to help develop character. Like,
Yeah.
it's not going to be these where you have so many people, if someone ends up losing a match, where it's like, okay, you're kind of done for now.
Done.
We got to go with the people who are winning and who have big characters. So
Mhm.
it's going to allow people, especially the newer people, to develop not only in their gameplay, but with those characters. So it starts drawing more people in.
Yeah, I think a good way to look at it is like what we kind of have with Griffin Newman, where it's like somebody that is kind of in the industry, but also like clearly established as a dominant player in Schmoedown. So maybe some of these players like a Horowitz or even like Chris Van Vliet, you had Chris Jericho, Kevin Smith. Some of these players have proven themselves as actual like really good at the Schmoedown. Paul Walter Hauser, another example. I think that's another way that the Schmoedowns could kind of grow in that way. Having some of those sort of celebrity players, if you would, at live events, I think is going to help sort of maybe get some more eyes on the product as well.
I mean,
Yeah,
once
and I think you-
cutscenes. Oh, go ahead, Corey, please.
Yeah, I think you got to have a good mix. Kind of piggybacking off what Dagan said with getting these celebrities. We saw Eric Whiteley with Blind Wave, and we saw even during the draft, like the Blind Wave phenomenon that happened during the draft, and then during his matches, like we had the most viewers in just one little ticket there. So I think they gotta have a good mix of the celebrity matches. I know people aren't the biggest fans of the celebrity matches, but getting those there, having them go to live events, bringing their following and kind of cultivating the following and bringing that to the Schmoedown is another way to kind of just build it as far as watching and hopefully getting the right revenue out of that as well.
And if depending on the celebrity is if that's not something they want to do, then you have to double down on the stars you already built. To use the Finstock Exchange as an example, like of course you have Griffin Newman, but he's been on TV, he's been in movies, and he has a very successful podcast or two of them. I heard he's a busy guy, but like you and I hate to give him credit, but you have guys like Rick Radis, right? Like you have to emphasize that and put them on a pedestal because like they're eye-catching. You hear what they're talking about, you're gonna listen to them. It's like when Finstock first showed up on the Schmoe's No Movie Show, everyone was listening to him, even though he was just talking. You wanted to hear what he was saying, and that was just a star that the fans were like, "Oh my god, we want more of him!" And then he came back, and he came back, and he came back, and he came back, and now he's the manager of the most successful faction in the Schmoedown, in the Finstock Exchange. So you have to double down on these folks and emphasize your social media presence. I would like to see more of. I would like to see more. Of course, we're going to get more cutscenes next year, but just more stuff on the Instagram, on the Twitter. Utilize all that, the TikTok, right? Like use all that and have your competitors do it. I know it's another ask out of these people who are already dedicating so many hours of their lives doing this movie trivia thing, but I think you have to almost double down on their star or make some and then double down on it later by having them do more things outside of writing their answers on whiteboards, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, for sure. Well, speaking of dedication, I'm going to bring this man in. He's one of the most dedicated competitors. He's one of and not only in the Schmoedown, but outside the Schmoedown. And this is honestly going to be my favorite match and I'll probably be drunk screaming when this match comes on, and I cannot wait for it. And that is the major Thomas Harper. What's going on, Major?
What's
Thomas.
up?
Hello.
Oh, shit.
How goes it?
Good
How
to
you
see
doing,
you
boss?
again.
Good to see you again, champ.
So happy not seeing you destroy my live chat.
You know, I was like, I have 3 minutes, and I'm gonna make it into a bomb.
That was
Wait,
the
Luke,
best
what
time
happened in your
ever.
live chat? What happened in your live chat? Did he just go in there and make fun of Evan and leave? Like, what happened?
No. Basically,
No?
Eli was in the middle of talking because I think he's rooting for Demolanta, and Jake Berlin was in our live chat, and so Jake's I think rooting for Demolanta as well, and so Major pops in
For his
And just
fantasy
wrecks
team
shop.
of all reasons.
So he just jumps in, wrecks shop, leaves, and we're like, what happened?
It's like, why was Thomas Harper in our chat, and why does he hate me now? Like
Hey,
Never
I'm
radar.
rooting for him. I was good for him. It was just Eli.
Yeah, damn, way to throw your man under the bus. Look.
Right? I mean, we do that all the time to each
Oh,
other.
100%.
But Mr. Harper, one of the matches I am certainly looking forward to. Like I was talking about earlier, one of the most homegrown storylines to come into Spectacular. Like this writ itself. Like you don't even have to do a storyline because this is going to be one of the best matches and stories at Spectacular. How are you? Are you excited? You ready to be in LA playing Nikki DeMolanta? Like what's going through your mind right now?
It's crazy that I will be on a plane in just a couple days. That just blows my mind. On a plane for the first time in like almost 2 years, which is crazy enough to go play a little Star Wars trivia. So yeah, I'm still trying to wrap my mind around it. If you could see behind the camera, it's a mess of note cards and all manner of trivia things. So yeah, we'll get all that in order. But yeah, it's going to be surreal until the match happens. In fact, just before this match, I now know the order of the show. I will not share any of that. I will not tip any details your way.
You can put it in the private chat. No, nobody's watching the show. There's like 2 people watching the show. You're good. Okay, Thomas Harper, you're good. You can send it to us.
Trying to get him in trouble.
I feel like
Qualified.
Christian would find out a way to harness the power of a lightning bolt and send it over to Pennsylvania where I am. But yeah, it's gonna be good. The whole thing is set up really nicely. I couldn't have designed it better myself. So yeah, that's exciting. I now know when in the sequence Nikki and I are gonna go, so that's fun. That's good for prep. I know I have to turn in, let's see here, in the next 48 hours I have to make my decision about whether Spinners and Opponents goes on the wheel. So that's on deck here. That has not been sent in, but
don't do it. No, don't.
I don't know, but
do
when you're like, it really doesn't need to be. She inexplicably has spun her favorite movie in every single one of her matches, spun away from her favorite movie and got Spinner's Choice. So I don't think it matters whether those slices are on the wheel. If I could take Force Awakens off the wheel, then maybe I might have a decision to make. I don't know, but I have a feeling that fate is tilted in her favor on that front. So
now, Thomas, as
Sounds
we
like
discussed
Duel of the
earlier,
Fates.
as we discussed
Nice.
earlier, here's a question: in Ewok's Caravan of Courage, who was the sound department's Foley artist?
see, it's tricky because in Ewoks, in the Ewok, in the show, it was a guy named Dan Backenstow, but this was actually his cousin, Peter. I think I have it. Oh shit, I've got it backwards. All right.
Wait. You hear the ambulance?
Started.
You hear the ambulance coming by? Yeah, that's gonna be Thomas in the second he hears a goddamn Ewok question. What's going on, PLD?
The
What up,
answer is
PLD?
The
John
man-
Rush.
The
John
man you're
Rush.
really facing
A Foley
on Saturday, Paul.
Yeah.
Paul is one of the people you're actually facing on Saturday.
This is true.
Ooh. I just
This is
wonder if
true.
he can somehow get a Ed Harris question in Star Wars one of these days. I don't know
He'll
if it's
figure it
possible.
Dagan,
Yeah,
don't
I'd
do
find
it.
a way.
Dagan, stop it. Don't put that out in
What beloved
Every-
actor did not
Don't
appear?
put that in the universe.
Right.
Major, I do have to say, throughout all of this, my because again, as everyone knows, me being very, very new to Schmoedown, I don't know who deserves heel of the year more when it comes to gold leader, you or his mother. And I wonder if you have her on speed dial just so you can like plot
Did you
ahead
see
of
her
time.
tweet, Thomas?
the
Did you
things
see
you
her
guys are
tweet from
gonna
last
say.
week?
Oh, she has I didn't know she has a Twitter handle. That's amazing.
She
Or-
does.
She's about to get another follower.
That was one of my favorite things I've ever seen. I gotta.
With our
What's her
powers
Twitter
combined.
handle? Can you put it in the chat, Buck? Can you put her handle in the chat?
I'm
Put
gonna
it in
try and
the-
find it.
I will
out
say
to-
she is the parent that I strive to be one day to my kids. To just mercilessly backbreak.
We got to get her on Spin from the Real next week when we get back.
Oh, absolutely. I
that'd be
tweeted
amazing.
out if she is not at least nominated for Heel of the Year, I don't know what we're doing.
No way. There's no
And
way.
if she's not, we need to petition for there to be a special award.
She needs to be. She
The
needs to be
Yogi
part of
Award
like the
goes to
equivalent
Mama
of an
Bushkar.
honorary Oscar, but just to Evan Bushkar's mother. And we have to
Yeah.
make sure that only she gets an award, not Evan.
Look at she should be losing the she should be losing the Chandru like by this much for Heel of the Year. Like it should be her and Chandru neck and neck. But we've loved obviously. That's the storyline we thought we were going to get at Spectacular. Thomas was you and Goal Leader, but now you have to face another Demon Lanta, in Nikki. And you talked about how she's got her favorite category, but she has really played like I think your match with Ace, you and Gold Leader. She's been one of the her and Ross. She's played really well. Like her matches have been really top notch. Playing well. What is like your mind? Obviously, like we just talked about it. You're playing against the question writers, but when that crowd's screaming, when I'm drunk screaming, like what do you think? What do you think is going to happen? What do you feel is going to happen?
People would be screaming. This is the good thing about Star Wars being so obscure. I don't have to worry about anybody screaming like a random white English actor's name from the audience. Like he plays General so-and-so. Yeah, he did lose. I had all these plans and I messaged him and I said, you shattered everything that I had planned. All of these, he's going to join forces with his mother and just make his life a living hell. All that out the window. He's got to climb back up the
Thomas
mountain
is going to
again.
marry Evan's mom as his entrance.
Like he's gonna call me dad in front of everybody. We're just gonna recreate Step Brothers.
Your entrance literally would have been that, and it would have ended with looking at him saying, "Who's your daddy?"
Oh, that was great.
Oh wow!
Oh
wow!
No need to play Star Wars trivia at that point. I win. I can just tell him at this point, hey, look. What time is it? It's your curfew. Get your ass to bed. I win this match.
Oh, by the way, at the expo, I can't wait to see you guys. Just like, oh my god, that's gonna be.
It's gonna be
They're gonna
amazing.
fight.
Glorious.
I'm selling tickets out front.
Is Gold Leader gonna be there?
He will be. Yeah.
Mhm.
He will be. If I have to lose the belt, I'll at least hit another human being with it before I have to hand it over.
Which, by the way, Thomas, I believe it was on. Speaking of, shout out to Jay Wade, but when you said that, it might have been the funniest thing I had heard. It's been the funniest thing I heard in a minute. Because I'm like, when's the last time someone threatened to hit somebody else with the belt and mean it? like
people have been tackled. There have been, fights, kayfabe or otherwise, that have been broken up. But nobody's ever used the belt for, I feel like one of its useful purposes. So
yeah, it has been rubbed against a couple crotches, but
Yeah, I was fortunate enough in New York to get to hold that belt. There's some weight to it.
That's
like
a heavy
some
belt.
real metal. You could do some damage.
It's
That
got
is a
some
heavy
heft.
belt. I'm pretty sure when I walked up to you and said, "Oh, look, that's a cool belt," and as you flung it on my shoulder, I did one of these. Like,
By the way, for those in the
Yeah,
private chat, I just put. I'm assuming it's his mom because her profile picture, or she has a picture of Evan standing next to her.
It'd be very unfortunate if it was not his mom.
Right?
Like that would be
Also,
like,
because she's responding to Schmoedown tweets mocking him.
That's either his mom or like a really dedicated identity thief. One or the other.
or just like that's
So
Thomas
funny.
Harper Stan.
I don't know if
Right?
Evan Bushkar's mother really thinks Bob Odenkirk is hot.
I mean, I really think Bob Odenkirk is hot. So
I mean, who doesn't?
Right. But Thomas, you're this whole trek that you've been on since you announced since your name was on a list to be drafted, and then going in the first round, and the first Star Wars player taken, and you had all this hype solely because, oh my God, this Thomas Harper guy, he's going on those bum shows like Spin from the Reel, talking about how he likes Star Wars, whatever. But then you win, and then you keep winning to the point where you beat the guy who had arguably the moment of the year a few months prior, and you're like, ha, it's my moment. And now you're facing his significant other who is arguably better than him. How?
I wasn't gonna say
Whoa
that.
there.
Arguably,
Wow,
I'm
wow.
not saying that,
Breaks.
I agree.
But-
I think she is. I think
She's
she's
getting
better than him.
there.
but how's this?
All right.
How has this whole ride just been for you, Thomas Harper? Not the major, but like Thomas Harper, and now it's all culminating in front of a bunch of nerds like us, and we're gonna be yelling out all these old white men's crusty names at you, Spectacular.
It's from Thomas, it's been consuming. It is way more of a commitment than I ever thought. People see, especially coming in, I think the massive benefit that Nikki has beyond getting to sit for 5 months and not have the pressure of a match over her head is that the lack of pressure on her and the lack of expectations is a major difference. Yeah, that's absolutely true, Barbarian. But it's a massive difference because for her, you can only go uphill, right? You can only climb upwards and exceed people's unreasonably low expectations. I think people were fools. Anybody that thought that she wasn't going to do exactly what she's done, I think all those people are idiots. If you counted her out, or if you question why she was drafted. But coming on the opposite side of that, where people that don't even know me, that have never been to Dragon Con, they've just heard this myth. They've never even like watched the 1 year that's on YouTube on Alex's channel, but they hear about it. They hear about me and Marie and Zach, and they make these assumptions, and they assume that the legend of Dragon Con equates to perfection in the Schmoedown. And the moment you miss a question, it's like there's a chip off of your armor. And that's a very, very different position to play in. To start out the season against somebody like Adam Witt, who was sort of similarly regarded as somebody that was very good, but just like had nothing to lose, just playing completely with house money. Meanwhile, whether I created the expectations or not, I walk into that match with a very different view on me. It's exhausting at times, and I think it fuels this like vicious cycle of prep and wanting to sort of do exactly what I promised to do. Fortunately, I was able to win the belt before Spectacular, and that hard work paid off. And so at that point, there was sort of a shift in my brain where, hey, I did what I said I was going to do. What more do you want of me at this point? So I'm fortunate for that, but that's a really different position to be in, and to play somebody that's only played half a year and has not dealt with that mental pressure the entire year. That's a massive advantage for her. And I think you've seen the mental wear on a number of players this season. Some of the tournament ones, Craig, you're in the chat. Craig's talked about the wear and tear just in the singles tournament on his brain and how that affected him. I think he's a good example of what happens to a lot of people if you play this game long enough. So that's the hurdle that I've got to jump over at Spectacular.
For sure.
Yeah.
Dagan had a question. Go ahead, Dagan.
Yeah, definitely. So me and Corey had you on our show here pretty recently, and one of the things I forgot to talk with you about is this sort of strategy that you bring. You sort of bring a very unique strategy to the table where you're using your whiteboard for like the entire match. And I remember thinking early on this season how, this is kind of interesting, and it's something that I feel like more players were gonna bring to their, adapt into their own gameplay. And I feel like I've only seen a couple players do that. One of those is Paulo Yama, and then obviously Ross, which makes all the sense in the world working with you. But it's interesting to sort of see that and not be used, because I feel like that's something that's, you've talked about is very essential to your success, is using that as part of your gameplay.
Yeah, absolutely. It started out, quite honestly, as a way to keep my hands occupied. I was very much in the camp of like, why is it so hard to keep your hands on screen? And then I was like, on screen, I was like, that scene in Talladega Nights where he's like, what do I do with my hands? And so I was like, well, I got a whiteboard here. Why don't I just hold on to that? And then I was like, well, I got a whiteboard here. Why don't I just write on that and see if I can work through answers and stuff? And so I think it didn't come from a place of like, that's how my brain just naturally operates. It started with a very practical reason, and it grew. I sort of grew into it from a trivia standpoint. But I've really, really enjoyed the discourse about how I may or may not fare in a speed round, in a buzzer round, because of my usage of the whiteboard, or how these the fast money rounds, which really have no comparison whatsoever to the speed round, what bearing that has on my ability to press a buzzer at the right point in time, answering a question. So, yeah, I don't know what to say about that other than, I've got some tricks up my sleeve, and I've been doing some work on that front, but don't expect me to be holding my whiteboard when I'm playing that. Obviously, that's not going to be happening.
Yeah, I feel like just timing that wouldn't work out.
Just
You have to hit
which I gotta.
Wait.
Jesus Christ.
That is a good.
Jesus,
Bro,
barbarian.
then you get what you want. You get to cause violence because
Oh, dude, a fight would break out. Oh, God.
Oh man, that'd be fun to watch.
Right. I believe Nancy had a question next. Go ahead, Nancy.
Oh no,
we can
no.
hear you.
Good. Okay, good.
there you
I
are.
was thinking if my mic was actually muting when I needed it to mute.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, but we've kind of seen these live matches where some people have faltered a little bit going from the digital to live match. Is there anything you're doing to make sure that doesn't happen? Not necessarily in terms of gameplay, but like nerves or like playing in front of a huge crowd or anything like that.
Yeah, so I'm a big believer in practicing under game conditions. So I can't replicate that from a crowd standpoint in here. Like my children, as much as they love me, don't want to sit and listen to me answer Star Wars trivia questions. Although they make probably as much noise as that crowd at Spectacular is going to make. But no, I think you can replicate it. You play, I do stuff like I'll play stuff in the background. I don't play in a quiet environment. So when I'm practicing, when I'm studying, I have other stuff on so I can learn to filter those things out. You learn strategies to focus yourself. My entire job is public speaking. I'm a public facing in my job in uniform in the Army. I'm a defense counsel. So I'm, actively, I don't do courts martial as much anymore on the reserve side, but your whole job is to convince other people of your client's innocence through words and talking to them and advocacy. And quite frequently that's live with an audience of sort of, important people, so to speak. I started out my career, with 12 people in the box. So the juror, as a trial attorney, with one of the most important audiences that there can be. Right. So you're up there and they don't, lots of times, the law goes over their head, but they know who's in control of the courtroom. They know who knows their stuff and who doesn't, and who comes across more sharply. And sometimes you can sway a juror or two with that stuff alone. So that's my professional background melds right into that. My job now with the Red Cross is all public facing. So I don't go a month without a public speaking gig of one type or another. So I'm very comfortable there. I've also played trivia on the stage before, Star Wars trivia on the stage before. So Dragon Con typically has about 250 to 300 people in the audience, like packed into a small room, most of whom are cheering for Alex and Molly. So I'm no stranger to also not being the most popular person in the room. And you're up on stage getting just pummeled with brutal questions round after round. And so I've done that for, let's see here, 5 of the 6 years that I played was live, with 2020 being virtual. So that runs in my blood. And quite frankly, like I've got some stuff up my sleeve for the show itself. And I'm like really excited off. I feed off of that energy. Like I feed off of that crowd reaction. there is nothing that can just describe the feeling of sitting in front of a StreamYard by yourself playing. Like, you watch my match against Andrew and you watch my speed round. There were technical difficulties behind the scenes. It took like 45 minutes to get that filmed. I'm just sitting there the entire time, just in front of a blank StreamYard, not knowing when we're going to come back, ready to go because I'm first up out of the gate. So at any point when they come back on, we kick off. That's to me more difficult than standing in front of a bunch of people who are all like paying to see you play and excited about what you're doing and giving you feedback as you go, whether it's a boo or a cheer. That really excites me. So I'm really looking forward to Saturday from that standpoint.
That's cool. I didn't know you did that job wise. I mean, that's really awesome.
That is awesome. Corey, before we get to you real quick, Luke has to leave from Galaxy Geek. He has to get up early for work. So before we get him out of here, and then we're going to bring in another guest. Before we get him out of here, Luke, give us your predictions on the matches for Spectacular.
And don't be biased because Thomas is here.
Yeah,
don't worry. He's already heard me talk a little bit.
I already clicked the unsubscribe button. It's too late.
I already assumed. But no, for Star Wars, my assumption is I got Thomas for Star Wars. I just think you have been playing incredible. I really do. I think you're going to really shine when it comes to just showing yourself out there, really the hype of the fans. Especially, I have an assumption you're probably continually practicing with the buzzer, trying to get ready for that.
Well, this is fast money, right? I'm just kidding.
Is it fast money?
No.
I was like, that changes everything.
He's fucked.
There he goes. There he goes. He's gonna lose now. Nope. But no, I think you're gonna do great. I'm excited for that match. I think it'll be great. For Inner Geekdom, I got Mike. I just think Mike's been playing a different kind of game this year. I love Parker. I think Parker's a great player, but just for some reason, I think Mike's just playing a different game. And Parker has messed up this season a couple times, and it just seems like when things are going good for him, they just kind of go back down. And then for the teams, I'm going Shazam. I think Shazam's got this. I have a good feeling about them. It all depends on King Khan. If King Khan brings his game, he'll win. They'll win. But if King Khan doesn't, we'll see. For the Roka Dan match, I gotta go Dan. I mean, I love Roka, but just kind of have a feeling Dan's got this. And then for the Marisol and don't worry, Greg. For the Marisol and Newman match, I got Newman. I think Newman's gonna do incredible. And I love Marisol. I love Marisol to death, but Newman's bringing some heat right now, and he's gonna be hard to beat.
This is why we don't invite you on, Luke.
I know, Suge.
My math might be off, but under that scenario, the faction race would come down to that singles match.
Yeah,
which would be cool.
Who did you say would win IG, Luke?
Oh, I said Mike.
Mike. Okay.
I'll reserve my picks till later. But Luke, thank you so much for joining us today, brother. Really appreciate it. Plug your stuff, man. Plug your stuff.
Plug.
Really.
Plug. Yeah, because sometimes you got to do that. So if y'all haven't already, come over to the Galaxy Geeks. We do trailer reaction, movie reviews. We do Into the Schmoedown Galaxy. We just had that on a little bit earlier today. We are going to probably one day do a geeky media show one day, maybe. I don't know, because we're lazy. I don't know.
Valid.
But the trailer reactions, honestly, if y'all haven't checked them out, we have loved doing those. We've been really growing a lot because of them. I mean, that's really where our bread and butter is recently. I mean, we did a Turning Red trailer that's got over, I think it's about 5,600 views at the moment.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And we also, I should plug it more, but we also have a TikTok. Just look up Galaxy Geeks channel on TikTok. Most of them don't do the best TikTok wise unless we did one Turning Red trailer for the TikTok and it had over 60,000 views. So we don't know what happened.
Hey,
there you go. I just want to point out that.
Wait. I have a question before you hop off. Do you have any TikToks where you sit sadly in a shower with all your clothes on
because I just want to point this out
because my faction lost a match.
I just want to point this out. I have started the Schmoedown Reactors TikTok. Okay, I started it. Remember that? Yeah, that's not even my favorite one. The favorite one is the one of Chris making fun of me about the dead losing half the time.
My favorite one is you. My favorite one, I believe, is you. What is it? You're defending the den or whatever, and it's just you pretending you have a machine gun screaming.
Yes.
I'm so glad Thomas brought that up. But Luke, man, thank you so much for coming on, dude. And we'll chat soon, dude. We'll chat.
All right. See y'all later.
Nice to meet you, Luke. Have a good one.
Nice to meet everyone. Honestly, nice to meet everyone. Hope I can have y'all on our show one day.
Please, you already know where to find me.
Anytime, Luke. I love all of this. I will invite myself on like I do with everyone else.
She will, and she'll send people the link.
All right, thank y'all. Honestly, thank y'all. This was awesome, and I cannot wait till the next time. It should bless me. You never know.
Be good, dude.
DLD, it does not happen. Don't have a good night. It happens all the time.
All right, and as Luke leaves, we're going to bring in somebody else real quick, Thomas, before we continue with you. He is from, speaking of Schmoedown, he's the numbers guy, sexy numbers. This guy's awesome. Love hanging out with him. And that's Mr. Double D. What's going on?
Schmoedown analysis. I'm changing the title. It's Schmoedown analysis.
There you go. Oh, there you go, Dave. That makes you more proficient. All right. So, actually, Double D, you came in at a perfect time. Did you have any questions for Mr. Harper? You've been on. You've had him on the show.
A little bit late. I caught a little bit of so I don't know what you've been asked or not. But I know that you probably are prepared for that live event because the digital is gone. So you're gonna have to deal with that buzzer round. So I heard about that. So. I mean, I feel that Nikki is going to have a great shot. I don't think that my heart wants to say that she's going to win, but I think you can win this. It's all depends on how well you do in that speed round. That's really
your vote of confidence, is very uplifting.
Well, I'm just saying,
they're really boosting me up here.
So I gotta say, my heart.
I think that there's a universe in which you could win. You're like Doctor Strange, there's about 1 billion outcomes where you don't win, but I see one where you could.
Hey, but the Avengers got that one.
It's like
that's true.
Got that one.
That's true.
I love that.
He didn't go to the Avengers.
Like, yo, Luke just hyped you up with his prediction to win. Let me knock you back down to keep you.
No. Dude's just trying to keep you humble, bro. He's just trying to keep you humble.
All Schmoedown reactions and just crapping all over everybody.
I mean, at least you didn't say Thomas Harper was going to be the worst.
Yeah. I was the
look
first
at what
one
Craig
to do
is
it
saying
at the
there.
start of the year. I was the one that said Thomas was going to not have a good year. I called him this year's Robert Parker.
Well, actually, at the beginning of the year, I said that Thomas was going to be a future champion. I said that.
Yeah, I mean, look.
I'm at least
he did say
quite a bit taller than Robert Parker.
My heart wants Nikki to win, which means his heart wants you to lose.
But my mind says that I think you can win. That's how so whatever happens, I get to assign.
I mean, to play devil's advocate here with what Double D is saying, really the thing we've seen in all of these 5-round matches is that really a lot of it does come down to that whole buzzer round. Yeah, anyway, I mean, not to come down on the den, but it was the buzzer round that Parker knocked off Saul. I mean, you can't deny it. It is what it is. That buzzer round and how you play that betting round. I mean, those two right there really become a make or break it. Yeah. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But I think you'll do fine, Harper.
Thank you for bringing up the Saul knockout. I'm gonna go sit in the shower again. I'll be right back.
Just don't record it this time.
Devil's advocate.
Hey. Saul did a great job this year making sure that, or not making sure, obviously. He did a great job this year with many of his matches, but I feel like he also has the rare season that I don't know if anyone else can match it. Every single one of his matches happened to end in some form of a KO, one way or the other.
Yeah, that's a record.
Well, I mean,
Live
yeah,
by the
I
sword, die by
understand
the
who
sword.
was he playing? That's a big factor as well.
Oh,
Because
like, damn, Double D's just going after everybody. I don't know.
Yeah,
He's playing.
Going after the den tonight.
my last fuck is given out. I'm gonna call out everyone.
What
But-
Dan's
well,
trying to say is that he beat the rejects so bad that they don't promote the show anymore. Allison, what was your question?
So my question you kind of touched upon it too with talking about Dibby and like how she's had a little bit more time where the amount of times you've been champion the longest. We knew you were going to be at Spectacular probably long before most everyone else has been decided. So having all of this downtime, do you think that you've really been using it as much as you can, or is it becoming more of a like that is there a fatigue with the amount of downtime that you're having as well versus like the fatigue that people who have been back-to-back competing have been dealing with?
No, I don't envy her for having to go through that tournament. I mean, no matter, I think she got lucky playing two people back to back that had career worst performances. That had more, quite frankly, to do with Alex and with Gold Leader not knowing their stuff and getting hit with very difficult questions than really anything else. And so but still playing matches in sequence like that, nobody that's not done a tournament will ever know how mentally stressful that can be. The benefit for her is the moment that she won the tournament, she knew a date certain that she and I would be playing. I didn't know when I would be playing Andrew when my match against Gold Leader wrapped up. And so that was a little bit difficult. You have to like structure your prep based on an unknown date, just a question mark that could shift left or shift right depending on a lot of circumstances. So that's a benefit. I've taken advantage of the fact that I don't have a problem pressing down on the brake pedal. I think you've heard Drew in particular talk about the erosion that it can do to your brain to just keep on the gas the whole year. There's just no way. I mean, if there's somebody out there that's studying the entire year at the level that you need to for a championship in Star Wars, you're going to burn out. You're going to forget stuff. You're going to over rev and you're going to be exhausted by the time the match comes. I don't have a problem saying I took a full month off. I didn't do a lick of studying for a full month. I watched other stuff. I did other things. If that comes back to bite me, then so be it. But that's what it took to sort of mentally decompress from what it took to get up for the match against Drew. I said this before in the run up to Drew's match. The two of them are similar in one regard. Coming into the match this season, neither of them, Nikki's only had one instance where she's been up against it and like down and facing a loss. And really that the way that match ended was out of her control. I mean, she didn't force one thing or another with Ross. He just, she kept it close enough to get him to his 5 and he missed it. Much like Andrew coming into my match, she's played in control of pretty much all of her matches. Out of round 1, she's been tied or in the lead in all of her matches. In round 2, again, with the exception of Ross, she's been tied or with a substantial lead coming out of round 2. That I cannot underscore how big an impact that has on your psyche going in, whether it's going into the betting round, whether it's going into your round 3, your final round. It really, really makes a difference on you. I think your information, your brain processes stuff differently. I think you're able to pull a little bit more easily when the pressure's not on you. And I think it's going to be incumbent on me because I've outplayed her in round 1. You talk about stats. I've outplayed her in round 1. I've outplayed her in round 2. We're a draw in the betting round, and then in speed round she has an edge. But I've played 2 speed rounds before in an unrelated format. So it's going to be on me to keep the pressure on her and see how she reacts in a 5-rounder. If she's down or if she fumbles away the ball like Andrew did, how does she react in that instance on stage in front of a bunch of people with the pressure on? Because up to this point, sitting behind a computer with nobody expecting you to do anything, that's been a great position. But now the tables have turned. I've dealt with the pressure. I've handled it, and I've won the belt. Whether or not I walk away from Spectacular with that belt is to some degree within my control. But it's not going to damage my brand or damage my personal feelings if I lose that match. She's got a lot of crowd support. There are going to be some big cheers for her. There's going to be some big expectations, some big pressure. You look at any of the polls that are going on right now, the predictions, these confidence picks that Luke put out there. A lot of people are putting a lot of stock in her. So the pressure's on. I think she's going to feel it when she's up on that stage. She's going to feel it when I come out. She's going to feel it when I take the stage, and she's going to feel it when I'm standing there a few feet from her, answering questions and going toe to toe with her. And the difference in the two opponents that she's last faced in Gold Leader and Alex Damon is when it comes to casting questions, when it comes to these deep cut questions, I'm not blinking. I'm not going to miss those. So I don't know. Her arsenal is certainly well stocked. She is a very, very good player, but I don't underestimate her. I have kept up with the meta, and I've got an idea of where things are going to go, and I'm ready for her. But the pressure's on her this match, not on me. I don't feel a lick of it coming into this match. So yeah, we'll see how she handles that. I'm sure she'll do fine. But all the things that are being said already, I mean, those are rocks in her backpack, not mine.
God, shit.
Wow, straight fire.
Oh,
And I should say
he's a public speaker for a living. He does this.
I should say nobody has asked for somebody with her pedigree. I understand she hasn't played a match before, but with her last name coming into this league, whether she was drafted dead last or first overall, nobody's asking the question, why did she not get a match until July? I know the answer.
Oh, God.
And it wasn't because a roster decision or scheduling or this or that. There's a reason she sat until July. There's a reason she had half the year off to prep. And the bill comes due on Saturday. Because there's a universe in which I would have ended her season right at its start. But
wow,
it didn't happen that way. I face Wit. Wit takes a match on short notice. The dungeon doesn't walk away from matches. And here we are.
So Corey had a question.
Stop public knowledge that I'm saying things that are new to people here.
No. It makes
Good Lord.
You should
Cut the
blink. It's
promo
bad for your
already.
eyes.
Cut that promo.
Right. Go ahead, Corey.
Speaking of going back to the den, speaking of the den, we see Peggy in the chat here. Talk about the den and kind of how they have been just on your side since you guys have been out of it for a while now. As far as the faction race, how has the den just helped you prepare for this coming weekend?
Yeah, I wouldn't have the belt without them. I wouldn't be in the position where I am today without them. It starts and it ends, quite frankly, and it has since July with Ross. He's been in, I think he's missed like one training session because he got married and had a honeymoon.
How dare he?
But yeah, I know. I told him this is your one warning, but that's it. That guy is as dedicated as they come. He's become a good friend of mine. And I learn things every single day thanks to him. And it's like outside of trivia stuff, it's just been fun, like with that back and forth. Cause it's like, I learned stuff about Star Wars. So it's like learning, if you're into sports or something like that, like a factoid that you didn't know before. So from that standpoint, it's really cool. It's been really nice because Lacey has naturally had to step back. Like if you didn't see the news, she had her baby, her baby girl. So that's amazing. Completely adorable, but that life priority shifted. We sort of predicted that back in July and had to make a tough roster choice in picking up Ross. But here we are, and so I'm reaping the rewards. I understand Del Rio was a tough cut, and there were a lot of internal debates about how that should all go down. But at the end of the day, I'm the only one standing at this point, and I'm fortunate enough to have some rewards still coming in from that roster move. And so he's been a massive help. Saul's been a big help. Saul is like, if you need a 700 point question generator, that's Saul in a nutshell, who will also like give you shit if you miss it. He's like, how many windows are on a Star Destroyer? I'm like, fuck if I know how many windows are on a Star Destroyer. He's like, well, you should know this.
Saul,
Why
Saul
don't you
gave
know
us
this?
shit
Paul's
when
in
he
the
was
chat, by the
five
way.
down.
Paul's in the chat. Don't give him ideas. Don't give him ideas.
No. Saul tried to join our last Friday show, and his internet cut out, and he gave us shit about it.
It probably was your
Checked
fault.
out.
So
I love
yeah,
Saul. He's
but
great.
Saul's been outstanding. Peggy has been phenomenal for somebody that's operating out of her comfort zone. Peggy has a real knack for how questions are written, like how the question writers structure questions, and she'll caveat. She'll be like, this is probably an easy question, but when it comes out of her mouth, I'm like, it's as if PJ or PLD or whoever wrote it, and so that's phenomenally helpful. And she's been there from the very start. I mean, for a singles player to have dedicated the amount of time to a specialty division player that she has, like that says a lot about her and her character and her dedication to me and to the game. So she was on a call with us on Saturday night practicing late into the night when she could have been doing 1,000 other things. So in any event, yeah, they've been really great. And I'm sad that I don't get to see everybody Saturday. Folks like Ross just can't make it in, but it'll be a nice little reunion before roster changes happen and some of us go our separate ways.
I do have one question. When it comes to your studying, when's the last time you actually were asked a question, you had to answer it, that was actually just the movie and not an answer that was in like the 6th edition art book that you had to find in the back of like a Borders that's been closed for 8 years?
But it's the movie trivia Schmoedown, right? It's only question. Preserve the sanctity of the movie trivia Schmoedown. Peggy probably asked me a question on Saturday night that was direct from the movies. That's the other benefit I get from her is it's like she'll watch the movies and doesn't have all those books, and so she sees them through a different lens than the rest of us dorks do. And so she's like, well, yeah, I noticed this thing, and I'm like, I've watched that movie for like 35 years and never saw that. So yeah.
But like also the work that PJ and by proxy, I guess Paul, but we're not gonna be positive about him. The work that PJ does there and whatnot for all that Schmoedown work, like the questions that go into it, like that is some incredible stuff to deal with there.
Yeah. Well, and there's because the stuff is shifting. I think Knapsack was the one that on his show not too long ago was like, if you write a question or ask a fact one way in April, like give it till November when a couple more like guidebooks come out, it will have changed. And it's infuriating, or there's a character that was canon that's no longer canon that then becomes canon again, and it's like it's just luck of the draw about what happens there. A great example of that is the Y-Wing question that I missed against Andrew. So it was the question of what's the name of Zori Bliss's ship, her Y-Wing in Rise of Skywalker. In the promotional materials, in the visual dictionary, that ship is just listed by its model number, the BTL NR2 Y-Wing Starfighter. It eventually got a name in the novelization of the book. And that got ported over to Wikipedia, which I guess is where it was found. But nowhere else will you find a reference to the name of that. And I'm not even confident to what level like canon is for the novelizations. It's sort of like if you were to hear a story one way and then go to another campfire and sit around with people telling the same story, just a little different way. What's a fact and what isn't a fact. So to deal with that level of crap, I think every question they just like must bite their lip and be like, please don't challenge, please don't challenge, please don't challenge. And then breathe a sigh of relief like an hour after the match is over. I don't know.
I'm glad that you were able to stay on brand with your random reference or like example in that whole thing, and it was still a Y-wing.
Because
It's got to be
who
a
doesn't
Y-wing.
know
I
the
miss
model of
a
the
Y-wing
Y-wing?
question. It's embarrassing. What can I say?
I'm so disappointed in you, Harper, for missing that question. I'm just
I wasn't.
it's like
I wasn't
you
sad when
missing a Y.
they
You missing a
delisted all
Y-wing
the.
is like Roka missing a Western thing. It's like, don't do that. That's your thing.
Or even more
Right.
so when he missed Bespin.
Yeah, I
That
was
was
just
like
thinking that.
a while ago. But
That's
yeah.
earlier on. Yeah, but yeah.
Well,
All right, Dagan, go ahead. Go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah, so when you were on our show, right after you left, somebody called you out in the chat, and that is the FCL Star Wars champion, Brennan Marr. I said, I'm coming for you, Harper. So looking at next season, I think there's going to be a different sort of crop of players after sort of the injection of some of the Dragon Con players and folks like that. So are there any names, like if you defended Spectacular, that you'd want to face off against next year?
My dream match is against Gold Leader. It's a stipulation match, and the stipulation is that if I win, whatever, there's I keep the belt. If I lose, whatever, there's no consequences to me. If he loses, he cannot play Star Wars trivia ever again. He can't even. Can't even think about I don't want him like filling in like an answer on a kid's coloring pad, like a little thing at IHOP. Like
He can't even watch
bookie,
the JJ
no.
Star Trek. He can't even watch the JJ Star Trek because they were inspired by Star Wars, like that sort of stuff.
No more Star Wars
Hey,
trivia for
RTD
him.
in the background.
Yeah.
No, he could just never watch Star Wars again.
Oh, that's brutal, Chris. That's brutal.
Inevitably, I would lose that on a Y-wing question, but no, that's the worst part about the cut and rosters is that I don't know what it's going to look like. I look at just the current slate of Star Wars competitors, and there's so many people that I really want to play still, that I think I would have a lot of fun squaring off against. But I don't think there's going to be room for all those people. Brennan is a great example. Brennan belongs in the MTS. He's a fantastic competitor, somebody who could hang in multiple divisions and could be scary good in Star Wars. And I don't know. He might have a roster spot. I have no idea what the future looks like for him. But yeah, that's the thing that I'm most bummed about. That, and then the potential for fewer Star Wars matches overall.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it looks like. I don't know when the first Star Wars match of the year will be. I mean, this year we were like it was a tsunami right out of the gate. We might not see a Star Wars match for a little bit. You might have to wait till like April to see a #1 contender match, which is crazy.
So I know I had another question here. It's kind of a two-parter one. It's kind of inspired by what Dagan just mentioned about Brennan. Now Brennan, of course, is FCL and your Schmoedown. However, it sounds like next year with the FCL, it's kind of like this weird. It's not quite what we know of the FCL, but it's not quite the actual Schmoedown.
Right.
But it also sounds like there's been at least some talk. I don't know if it was confirmed or not. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong or not. That Star Wars might be more digital next year.
Yeah, you're right.
And I know the FCL is probably going to be digital as too. Are you looking forward to seeing, I guess, like the continued growth of it and possible, like, do you think that there might be some crossover with things like FCL since they're also digital? So, maybe there is the possibility of someone like Brennan might get the chance to actually, especially because someone like Brennan, he's awesome. The format works better for him in the digital format too.
Yeah, I hope so. And I hope that there are some legitimate storylines there. I think that as much as he sucks, like the cool thing about Gold Leader and I, that grew like naturally, right? That wasn't like a planted storyline. It was just one person that was good at Star Wars trivia and another person that needs work in spelling. And we just came together and just naturally hated each other. And but that provided some fun throughout the year. There were some others. I thought like Laura Kelly, and she's got hands down the promo of the year with the Joker promo. There's seeds that are out there for a lot of fun. People are like, Star Wars isn't the fun division. I like singles because I see like big characters and stuff. The seeds are there in Star Wars. They just need to be nurtured and watered and have a little light shown on them, and maybe get some injection of some new questions and some new categories and a little bit of TV or something like that. But the potential is all there. I just hope we don't backslide and lose the progress that we've made since, Ace's run in the 2020 tournament.
Very cool.
See,
Very
that's something that I'm worried about, and I know Thomas, you may know some things, you may not know some things about next season, but the general consensus, or I think Christian even said this verbatim, like we're going to see less of the geekier stuff, and we've had this discussion on this show and Spin from the Reel, and every show's had this discussion how we hate it and how it sucks. But hopefully, like what you said, we don't see the Star Wars division revert back, because going back to what we talked about at the start of the show, one of my favorite things about season 8 was Star Wars, and I wasn't saying that last year, and now it's the best, and it's the match I'm looking forward to the most. You and Nikki, like I think y'all are going to tear the house down, and I can't wait to see it.
Yeah,
but
I think there's a
the whole
legit
thing.
chance. Oh, sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
I think there's a legitimate chance, and this is Thomas talking. This isn't like Schmoedown competitor or whatever. I think there's a legit chance that you will not see the belt defended until Celebration in May, at the tail end of May, which is crazy. I don't know that you'll see a title. I think you'll see a number one contender match, but I think that may be your first title match. You might get one more at Collision, and then obviously at Spectacular. So, down to maybe 3 title defenses.
Mm-hmm.
That's I'm not looking forward to that. But you guys are playing second to last, right, Thomas? That's Spectacular.
I know, but I cannot confirm or deny anything.
Damn it! I thought he was going to slip.
You want to see this match, but you're also trying to tempt Christian to evaporate me right on.
He's not going to evaporate the second best match.
I'm gonna Venmo you, and you're gonna tell me. All right, I'll pay you.
Yeah, well,
worse, he'll miss.
We can't wait 5 days to figure this out.
Just get him a few drinks on Thursday or Friday, and he'll probably slip.
First, we have to find him on Thursday or Friday in order to hang out.
I know he might not want to hang out with us Thursday or Friday. He might,
especially Friday.
You guys are assuming.
Do you have buzzers wherever you are? If so, maybe.
Thomas, I can put one in my suitcase and bring one with me.
We've got buzzers. I'm like, I heard you had buzzers here.
Well, Thomas, thank you very much for joining us. Really
thank
appreciate it. Thank you always for giving us your time this year. It's been amazing. We can't wait to talk to you after Spectacular and see what happens at Spectacular. Good luck and have a great time in LA. Can't wait to see you and meet you and shake your hand from all of us here. I think a lot of us are going to be there this weekend. So thank you very much, Thomas.
Thanks. Good seeing y'all. See y'all this Saturday.
Damn right.
See you this weekend.
Damn right. The major. All right, y'all. Who you got? DiMilanta, Harper.
DiMilanta.
Now that he's gone, right?
We're gonna start off with that one. I've already said I'm not picking that match. So
I'm not shocked by Suge saying that, but just because the dense show that he loves Thomas, but he has a special, unique relationship with Andrew and Nikki. So it's
it's not just that. It's not just the unique relationship that you have with like the DiMilantas. It's also like our Friday stuff that we've done for so much. Like Thomas has come on and popped in so many times like this, and 80% of the time we don't invite him. He sees the tweet and messages me and says, "Send me the link."
He pulls the Salomon.
So
that's what he did today.
He basically pulled an Allison before Allison did it. So but that's another relationship that's just been built over the years. Like it's very hard to I haven't paid attention much to like Nikki DiMilanta's matches. I know how she did. I know all that stuff. And the reason why I haven't paid attention is because none of that is even fucking English to me. But overall, like I understand how good she was in all those matches. I love Thomas there. So I know my heart is pulling for Harper when it comes to who will actually dominate. I don't know. I'd probably go with Harper just because I feel like he's got it in him to continue to go all the way. But it's not like I'd be surprised if it was Nikki.
I didn't mean for this to become like the prediction. I was kind of asking that as a joke. Since
we're doing it now because
we can go match to match.
Hour and a half in, Chris.
And we haven't talked one match. We haven't talked.
We talked Star Wars for an hour with Thomas.
I know, but we didn't ask.
Can I just say,
I'm
really glad my question got like the promo of the stream so far with like
well, he does that every time he comes on
No, he
stream.
does
We've
this
had
every
him.
time.
Awesome.
He jumps a
He
high
just
bomb and leaves.
We'll ask someone will ask a question and he just gives a promo and you're just sitting there like,
That's
oh
the
my God.
defense attorney.
Right,
And
that's
there
the
is a
solved.
point,
Well,
there's a
not-
0.03% chance it's actually used in the finished products of the promos.
Right.
Yeah, we had Gold Leader on as a guest, and Thomas Harper just crashed, and he basically cut a whole promo with those two just bickering.
Oh, I remember that. Was I there for that?
Unfortunately, Gold Leader didn't make it into the final, so I doubt that's going to be in the promo. But oh my God, you just see me, Jay, and Frenchie just like, this is the hilarious shit. I wanted to keep going. It was just
Double D. If you want to see one of those hilarious things, we had Harper on for his because he was making the rounds immediately after his actual win for the belt aired.
Okay.
And just from the time that we started, we got him on first before he was making the rounds. And then while he and Kate were on talking, Gold Leader crashed it. And it was just them back and forth with Gold Leader just ruining his celebration of having just won the belt.
He just won the belt an hour previous.
How do they not get feud of the year?
They got it.
Oh, they have.
Is that
Mike and Chandru, but
no.
Oh
no,
I
that's
didn't
not a
even think
feud.
about
That's
that.
that's a Twitter article.
Chandru versus the internet.
That was a good feud. That was a good. I want to get into that so much, but we're not even going to get into that because I'm going to get mad. But talking about this match with Thomas Harper and Nikki
who you got?
I'm not choosing.
Who you got?
I'm not choosing, but I will say this. It's going to be an amazing match. I'm super excited about it, and I think that match needs to go right before Marisol Griffey Newman. It has to be the last two matches. I think you have to finish.
I agree
with those two matches.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
I get where you're coming from, Suge. I would almost prefer that, but I think knowing Christian and the way he books things, it's going to be Roca, Merle, and then Marisol.
Probably.
If he does that, I'm sorry if people could get mad if I say this. He's dumb as shit. If he does that, that Roca Merle match should go first. That match, I don't really care. Yeah,
it's not even for points.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, and I know Craig's in the chat.
First,
I love Craig to death,
it.
but I don't want to see that match. I don't really care about that match, and that match can go first, and I would care less. I'll take it back.
Here's
don't want to see it.
Here's what I'll say about it. As someone who
calm down, shit.
Who has had many thoughts shared on the whole match thing and whatnot. I think that the way that from the creative side of it, of how it as a retirement match has been announced, the back and forth, the way the scenes have played out creatively and whatnot, like it never rang very true. And in the way that it was presented, maybe it was because there are people that it didn't work as well with it being the digital format, the whole digital stuff. Maybe that played into it a bit. But objectively speaking, talking about it being John Roca of the Schmoedown and the Outlaw and the things that have happened in his career, and then it's Dan Merle and whatnot, just on its own, it makes sense that it would play that deeply. It's just because of the way that they have creatively built it up that it doesn't feel like we would care as much as we should really care. So it's another thing where I'm of two minds about it because, like I said, the build up, the way that they actually executed the ideas and whatnot, it works. The execution of the idea to get to that match has not been as smooth sailing as it probably should have been, creatively speaking. In the long run, I don't really care where it goes as long as it's not the last one. Obviously, that's the big one. I think it's actually, I don't actually think it should be the very first match. I think the first one should start with one of the title matches. I think that it should be between the second, third, and fourth one in the middle. Yeah. That's my opinion. But it really is like the fourth, especially with the fourth round draft pick and the constant fourth and the fourth and then everything else just with Roca and then Dan Merle and whatnot. It feels on its face that if it was the fourth one before the main event, It feels right. It's just the creative route that they took to get there that makes us like not necessarily feel like it hits as hard. So
Well, here,
that's
let's
The obvious
go-
placement.
I know I
let's
spoke
go
in
around
circles,
then.
but
No, we can go around and Corey, we'll start with you since Suge and
Or not.
Jeff already
Corey
gave
left.
the POV.
Start with me.
I'm still here.
Okay,
I
so
am still here.
okay,
Oh.
Corey.
Okay.
So just we can
Camera's gone.
we'll go around and say where you think the match is going to be, since that's
There he is.
that's what
There
we're
he is.
chatting about right now, and then give your prediction, of course, if you have one.
All right. I'm gonna go with Harper on this one. As far as placement, I do want to say the placement of things. Just continuing what Geoff was talking about. The problem with the Rokamuro, I can get back to that, is that we're still seeing Dan compete in the tournament when Roka was campaigning to have a last match. So that was kind of the downfall to that. But I think the Star Wars match, I think you put that either first or second, to be honest, just because it has no bearing on the faction race at all. The two competitors in there are in factions that are completely out of it. So
Disappointing, Corey.
I think you put it there first or second. Next with the teams match, because Griffin Newman is playing twice on Saturday, and I think you want to give him as much time as you can between matches, because obviously the singles one's going to be the last. But Thomas Harper, I have Thomas Harper going, winning the Star Wars match, just purely based off his performance this year. And Nikki has played great, but I think Thomas is all prepared to come in and grab this title, or keep this title, if you will.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of what Corey was saying there, I think, I mean, you look at this in wrestling, and Suge, Chris, you obviously guys know what I'm talking about. When you got to have a hot opener, right? And like the big pay-per-view, you got to have the hot opener, right? And so a lot of times that's the match that maybe is the most fun or the most entertaining overall. And I think for that reason, you put this Thomas Harper and Nikki DeMolante match first, because I do think that it is the at least my front runner candidate for what I think might be the most entertaining match overall. So if you look at it in that sense, booking wise, I think that makes sense. In terms of who I think is going to win this matchup, I'm very impressed with what Nikki DeMolante has been able to do this season. I think she absolutely has what it takes to win that title. But I think this is the era of the major that we're currently in right now. And I think this guy has the momentum going into this match. And after just hearing him talk for the last hour or so, I don't think there's any beating that guy anytime soon. So I'm going to go with Harper on this one.
Allison, what about you?
I think kind of the same thing. You're looking at Star Wars as much as it shouldn't be. I would probably intermix either Star Wars or IG is going second or third. I think you're putting you're going to give Griffin Newman time between teams and his singles match. So I'm going, that one's going either second or third. It's a toss up between that and IG, which one is with the places. I would love, but again, it's just kind of how I feel. I would love to see a women's Star Wars champ. That'd be so great. It'd be so awesome. A killer way to, cap off a phenomenal season of just badass rookies. But Harper's clearly a fucking lawyer, because now I'm just like, yeah, he's kind of right with everything he was saying. And I'm really annoyed at him for it. But I also think just the way that he's played all season, he's very cool, very calm, very collected, and knows his stuff. So I think it's obviously going to go either way. My heart says Dimmy, but my head is saying Harper.
Dan, is that you too?
Yeah, well, okay, so yeah, so as I said before, I think my heart says Nikki, but my head says Thomas. But it all depends on how, like, if they could. Yeah, he can play.
He probably could, Craig.
I don't think he can.
Hey, to Griffin Newman, a question's a question. He'll fucking answer. It doesn't matter who it's against.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously in order, I think the Star Wars match does make the most sense to start off with because I think what Corey just said, it's literally the most exciting one. It has no bearing on the race, so there's really not that much pressure as as the singles match. So I think the Star Wars match, just to get that open and get that energy going, and I think realistically speaking, I think Thomas Harper is going to win, but it all depends on how many misses he misses in that first and second round. Because if Nikki can just stay like 1 or 2 points behind Harper, I think that maybe the speed round is where things change. And then I think Nikki, and if that happens, Nikki will probably win. Whoever has that lead at the end of that round will win the match because Nikki has never missed in the final round. And I don't think Thomas has ever missed in the final round. So whoever has that lead going to at the final round will win that match, in my opinion. Now, obviously, if they have a hard 5-pointer, things will change. I think the next one will probably be the teams match because it is a factor in who's going to be leading in the points race.
Exactly.
And then I think Shazam will win that match personally. But I'm not going to doubt that Griffin Uman and King Khan can actually take it. It just depends on, I think, what Corey just says. What happened, or one of you said, it all depends on what King Khan does. Because if King Khan fails, then yeah, Shazam is going to win.
And here, I'll stop you there, Dan. We'll talk about the teams match in a second.
Okay.
But Nancy, where's your placement of the Star Wars match at? Because I think this is the most, at least to me, this is the most like up in the air one. I really could care less where Inner Geekdom goes or the Dan Merle match or the Dan Roca match goes. Yeah. I can't remember. I don't see it. But where do you think that match should be placed at, and who you got winning?
I mean, I apparently am one of the fewer people, I guess, that are looking forward to the Roca Dan match. I think it's just a nice way to kind of send him off. You know, if whether you like him or not, it's a good way to solidify his career in the Schmoedown. That being said, going off another analogy that Dagan was saying, you know, when you run a relay, typically you want the fastest person at the beginning and at the end. So it's kind of the same thing as you want a strong match to be at the beginning and then a strong match to end, you know, spectacular. So I think because it's not for a belt or anything like that, it probably will be somewhere in that middle area. I could see it definitely being right before the singles, you know, right at the end, maybe just to kind of give people a little bit of a breather before like the big match. And in terms of who would be winning in Star Wars, I really think Thomas is going to take it. I would love for Nikki to, you know, I would not be surprised if she did. I think it's going to be close, but I think Thomas having the experience in terms of playing in front of people, you know, how confident he is. Clearly he is very calm in stressful situations, and he knows his stuff. So I think it's going to be close, but I think ultimately Thomas is going to take it.
I love the fact that the whole time I was talking, Nancy was just probably like, this idiot. Shut up. You don't know what you're talking about.
You can have your opinion. It's totally fine.
My place, Nancy.
To be fair, Suge, it's not just Nancy who thinks that.
I know. Thank you,
yeah,
Allison.
Allison hit up the group chat of the other 8 people on screen, and you're not included in that chat. But
would be the first time.
I've been saying this for weeks. I got a lot of shit for it too from Suge when I said this to him, but I thought that the Star Wars match should go first. Using Dagan's logic, you want the crowd hot as hell, and if you put that match on first, you're going to get exactly that. You're going to get two of the most beloved personalities in the Schmoedown, put them up first, and if Thomas retains, Thomas retains. If Nikki wins, holy shit, that's how you start your show. Right. And I think that'll talk about memorable season 8. Nikki leading a spectacular with the win would be freaking incredible. Granted, since Griffey Nooms won the teams tournament, I think teams will go first. Just to give him as much time as possible between matches. Yeah. That's the only reason. That's the only reason.
And I think Shazam, I think that match just with Shazam alone and not just group, but having Shazam on it will get a pretty big pop, to use, you know, the terminology. I think you can get a good thing going based off of how beloved, you know, Bibiani and the kid are.
Yeah.
Would it be as big as the Star Wars one? maybe not, just because you're looking at two undefeated rookies that have become absolutely beloved. And I think a lot of that work falls on Harper and what he's done with his feud with Gold Leader. So I think people are hoping he comes in and just takes him out with the belt real quick.
Real quick. Brian is saying last year's Spectacular was Star Wars to begin with. Well, here's the problem, Brian. Here's the problem. It was taped. Out of all the matches were close. That match was not close. That is why it went first.
Got it out of the way.
Only reason.
Yep.
And what Allison is saying, I think, and what Chris is saying is correct. I think you should have the teams match up first because because also too, if Griffey Newman and King Kong win that match, that now makes big implications down the line. I know you guys are all saying, well, Star Wars, it doesn't have any implications. Well, if you start off with a match that has big implications and they win, now it's building up to something. If Shazam wins, okay, well, now we know that Griffey Nooms probably has to win the belt in order for, the Finstock Exchange to win. We know that Parker has to beat Kalinowski, so it you still have that. So I think, to me, teams needs to start first and, we go from there.
That actually makes a little bit of sense. I have that as my second pick, the second match that starts. But having team starts first, and if King Arthur wins, that could lead into the Star Wars match and get an even bigger hype towards it. So,
and the other thing I could say on that, and Peggy sort of bringing it up in the chat here, to kick it off with another epic Shazam entrance and whatever King Arthur might come up with. Another way to sort of get the hype level going in the crowd and the excitement level up is to have them have some grand entrance. And you see a lot of pay-per-views, even wrestling too, start with like a big entrance. So that wouldn't surprise me either. That's another argument you could use to have the teams match first. But I think either of those starting the pay-per-view is what we're going to end up getting.
Yeah.
They may be the first two matches, just whatever order.
Whatever order.
Right, because there's going to be some time, and I forget. So Kelly brings up in the chat. Hi, Kelly. So in 2019, it was Bibbs, Bateman, Star Wars teams, IG, and singles match to give Bateman and Bibbs a break.
Okay.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So it was that, and that's going to be the logic. And that's my logic going into this. It feels up to me, like breaks aside, breathers aside, I'm putting Star Wars first. Like, that's
with you.
Right, that's just like it's like having your ladder match at WrestleMania, to go back to wrestling for a second. Like, you put that shit first, get the crowd hot, and then everything else just falls in order, right? And I forget who said it. Might have been Suge or Geoff or both of you guys, but Roka Dan, for everything that Nancy said about Legacy and if Roka's last ride, right? You have the match go second to last, and I know if it was up to him, he'd probably go last. But that's not what we're doing. And I think having him be in the fourth spot, not only are you like, oh, with the meme, ha ha ha, fourth round, ha ha ha, but it's also a great way to be like, yo, like, as a former singles champ, I'm leading. I'm the last match
Former
before
teams
that.
champ too.
That too. But like, as going into the singles match,
2 times each.
Yeah, and going into the singles match, I'm in that match. This is me, like fourth match, whatever you want to say on the card. But I'm right before singles. And if I win, if I lose, I'm going out right before the belt that I had X amount of great moments with. Like that's what I'm, and that's, if you're Roka, I think that makes sense. And I hope that's how they do it personally. But Star Wars teams, IG, Merle Dan, I keep saying Merle Dan, Merle Roka, and singles.
I think we know who Clow wants to win that match.
You're saying no, you're also saying Merle Dan because that's his Twitter handle.
That too. Even though I don't think I've ever added Dan ever on Twitter. That's the thing.
But you've seen him on Twitter, and you know that his @ is @Merle Dan.
In regards to who I got for Star Wars, though, because it sounds like we want to do teams after this. I'm torn. I'm very much torn. I'm with a lot of you guys. I want one person to win. I want them both to win. If it was up to me, it'd be like they'd be the entire 7-hour runtime of the show, and we wouldn't even get the other 4 matches. They would just keep answering Star Wars questions over and over and over again until we're like, you know what? Fuck this. We're done. Show's over. And there's no winner, or there's co-belts. We have 2 people holding 1 belt. I'm cool with that too. I really want Nikki to win. I do.
All right.
I very much want Nikki to win.
So I've been trying to think the best way in terms of entertainment value, just because right now Finstock Exchange has a 10-point lead.
Mhm.
What order would create the most drama, the most impactful? Like, do we want to get all the like crazy stuff up at front? Do we want to space it out? Like,
So-
originally my thought was Inner Geekdom first, just because I don't think that's going to be the most, like, it doesn't have that big of a factor. But after everyone
It
kept
does have a
going,
factor.
yeah,
Well,
but
Mike has
I
to win
know.
that match.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so then I started thinking, and then I got to thinking, you got to give Griffey Nim some time. So I think Teams is first, because if Shazam wins that match, then Corruption has a really good shot of taking the faction title. Second, I'm probably gonna say Star Wars. Then Roka, Dan, then IG, then singles. But Star Wars, I have Thomas Harper.
I'm sorry for interrupting you. Finish up what you were going to say.
No. That was it. I just
To me, and obviously this isn't saying how I want matches to go. This is in terms of what could be the most exciting way, because as of right now, yes, Exchange is number 1 by 10 points. Realistically speaking, they're walking away with the belt. Like they're probably walking away with the belt on Saturday. Like not belt, the title,
race.
the faction title on Saturday.
Yeah.
Realistically speaking, but in terms of what would be the most exciting order of things, not saying this is going to be, I'd love to see it. Not saying I'd love. I keep prefacing this because I want to see the Exchange like kind of crush on Saturday. But what I also think would be exciting is you would have Teams first, and if Teams went to Shazam, okay, no TKO, no nothing, just Shazam wins, and then if it went and either Parker or Kalinowski won, because then that would mean that it really does come down to the singles match.
that's what I want. I
Yeah.
want the
Like,
faction
So
title
we all
to come
want, I think.
down to that
There is
final match.
there is
That would be
there is a possibility, and it could be either or, because we know that it's gonna end anyways. But shut the fuck up, Craig. But like seriously, in terms of entertainment value, like exciting, the most I was ever excited, and it's so weird because like I've been very like I've loved watching the Schmoedown, but it wasn't until this year and part of last year, obviously, that I was actually like watching and like dying and like watching with people and part of it as like a crowd, as part of like a group enjoying this all. But it wasn't until I watched along with Matt or with Buck and the Watt guys here, and we recorded it too, when Dimalanta beat Damon, and we all went fucking nuts about that. And it is because it was neck and neck the whole time until the very last minute. And that, to me, if that happened but was spectacular, I feel like the crowd would pop. I think that it would be the most exciting way to end what is, in some ways, an incredible season for gameplay and a lackluster season creatively.
Yeah, so to kind of pick it up on all of you, it really doesn't. It's going to come down to the singles no matter what. So that's why singles is going to be the very last match.
I'm pretty sure every spectacular it has been. I think singles.
You got to have the world title main event.
But
That's
yeah,
the way it
no
goes.
matter what, because I did like the whole on this Saturday for speaking of Schmoedown Spectacular special, we're going to go through like 7 different scenarios on which the top 3 factions could win. And realistically, it's going to come down to singles no matter what scenario. Whoever has which belt, it's going to come down to singles no matter what. So that's kind of how it's going to play out.
We were talking, we were leaning into teams a little bit, and I know, Dan, you said you were leaning towards Shazam over King Arthur. Did I get that correct?
Yeah, I think it's mostly because I think as a group, while King Arthur has been strong, collectively as a group, I think they cannot beat the collective power of Bibbs and Brendan. I mean, I think Griffey Nooms can beat them individually, but pairing up King Kong with both of them and looking at how big their stats are, I just feel that Shazam is going to take this, depending on how much they miss. So if they miss,
I think Khan could take them too. I think it really does matter though, because with what you're saying there, their stats though, Shazam, you can never count down. You got to go up against them as if you know they're going to go perfect because they have. But one thing to know about Shazam is they're 12-2, right?
Yeah.
They're 12-2, and their 2 losses have been at Spectacular.
Yep. That's very true. I was thinking about that the other day. Bibbs has not done good at Spectacular.
So
I don't know
when Shazam lost at Spectacular, Bibbs also lost to Ben at Spectacular.
I don't know if prior Spectaculars, Geoff. I don't know if prior Spectaculars, Geoff. But what is Bibbs' record in prior Spectaculars?
I don't remember him ever like competing much in there. But yeah, Craig, of course. Craig with I feel like just throwing out there because Craig's been in the chat for a while there. Craig's singles run in the tournament this fall was great.
Incredible.
He did a phenomenal job all the way through, all the way to the end. And Craig, you know, you've been so humble with everything. You even made a fast money joke in the chat here earlier. Just I know I don't speak for everyone. I speak for myself and appreciating you here in the chat, interacting, talking with us, and just, you know, how like getting to see you in matches. It's always great.
Okay, so Bibbs is 3 and sorry, Dick, I didn't mean to cut you off, but Bibbs is 0-3 in Spectacular.
Yeah, because they lost last Spectacular when it was
to Odd Couple,
the Odd Couple, the defunct Odd Couple, and
so
before that, just defunct Founding Fathers. And the defunct Ben.
Okay, so real quick, I do apologize. We barely got into the matches an hour and a half into the show, which we talked about we weren't going to do, and then we go damn near doing. But 2 of the people have to take off soon, so we want to get their predictions before they leave. That is Chris Lopez because he's leaving the channel permanently. Bye, Chris. No, we're not.
Damn. Way to bury the lead. Jesus.
Right. Sorry. No. Before Corey and Nancy are going to be getting out of here in a little bit. So before we leave, we wanted to get their predictions and give them an opportunity to talk about it. So we'll since we already give Star Wars. We'll start off with teams. Nancy, why don't you go ahead with teams? Who do you think is going to win and why?
This is a tough one. This is like a Sophie's Choice all over again, I feel like. Because I love both teams so much. I think, honestly, it's going to come down to round 1, which hasn't been the case until this year, I feel like. Khan had a little bit of a rough round 1 in his last match, and so I'm hoping he has noticed that and studied that, and I think if they can both have a strong round 1, they have a chance of winning this. I'm gonna say I don't know. I really want Khan and Griffin to win. I'm gonna say that. But also I think if they want to win, they have to play smart, because what Lightning Time did was screw themselves over when they got a broad category and decided that they were going to go for 3 in the betting round. You know, that's something they probably should have bet less on, and then they still would have been in the game. Because you saw once they got to the buzzer round, they were trying to almost catch up and like answer very quickly so that they could catch up on points, and then that in itself made them shoot themselves in the foot again. So I think if they play smart, they can come out with a win here.
There you go. Corey, teams.
Yep, I'm gonna go with Shazam in this one. Just because like everybody's said it already, they're just a powerhouse, especially in that first round. You have to get at least 15, 16 to even stay afoot with them. And they cover each other's weaknesses so well. Another thing that I will praise the digital age for is in the teams division, we get to see how teams work together, and just their conversations that they have, deliberating each question. And Shazam is one of the best for a reason, and that's the reason why they're so good, is that they cover each other's weaknesses so well. and it's hard to kind of penetrate that. So for that reason, and I know King Arthur is going to give them a fight because I believe Griffin Newman and King Kong are both going to come in with their best in this match. But I'm going to go with Shazam here.
Gotcha. And Corey, we'll start off with you for the IG matchup. Who you got winning that one between Parker and Mike Kalinowski?
I'm going to go with Kalinowski here. Really, I don't see him losing here. I know Parker, like I just said with King Arthur, Parker's going to give Kalinowski a heck of a match here, but Kalinowski has been playing great this whole year, and defending it, he knows that he can defend it now, having done it twice in the past few months now. So I think with all the confidence in the world, he's been playing better in IG than he has really ever. So I'm going to go with Kalinowski here.
Gotcha. Nancy?
I'm gonna go Mike as well. For some reason, to me, Parker seems like he gets a little frazzled in these bigger matches, and Mike, now that he doesn't have to worry about, playing in multiple divisions, I feel like it's gonna free up his brain a lot for this IG. And honestly, that could have been what had been happening earlier on when he was still in the singles tournament and all of this other stuff. So I'm gonna go Mike.
And Nancy, we'll stick with you. What's the other match?
Roca
and
Dan.
Roca, Dan, yes.
Oh, yes. Dan and Merle.
Merle Dan.
Merle and Dan. I'm gonna go Dan, but I really hope it's Roca. As a wrestling fan, obviously that's fixed, but I hate when someone is ending their career and they end up losing. I love to see someone go out on that high note. So I really, really hope Roca wins.
Well, the Shire was lost in their last one, but they still, it was a wonderful experience in watching them play either way. So I know he's not
better
Shire
if they won, though.
Of course it would have been better. I'm just saying, it was still never mind. Sorry for interrupting.
God damn you, quiz show. Corey Cameron, who do you got? Dan, Roca.
I said this on our show last week, and I'm going to stick with it, Dagan. I'm going with Roca for whatever reason. I'm going to go with Roca.
He'll be thrilled to hear that, I'm sure.
This is his last match. He's going to give it hell. And look, Dan has been human this year. We haven't seen the god tier Dan Murrell that we know Dan Murrell to be, and he has showed that he is human. And I know Suge's been saying it the last couple of weeks here on the show that Dan might be taking a break too, but I think Roca is going to come in with some good fervor and give it all that he can and somehow pull it out. So I'm gonna go with Roca here.
Word.
Okay.
And the creme de la creme. Singles. Who's walking away with the belt and maybe faction title? Give me that too while you're doing singles.
Yeah, and we'll start with Nancy. Go ahead. Singles belt and who's winning the faction title?
Oh, Griffin in exchange all the way. I want Griffin to win so bad. And I think, here's the thing. He can do it. Again, I think if he has a very strong round one, I think he can do it. Because even though Marisol is pretty good in the buzzer round, Griffin did amazing in fast money. And what we've seen, at least what I've seen, a pattern is that she tends to miss questions in her round one that even I am like, I feel like maybe she should have gotten that. So I don't know if it's nerves. I don't know if it's just, she studies more for those wheel slices and those deeper cut questions for round three. But I really think if Griffin can have a strong round one, I think he can pull this out. And I really, really want him to. And it's nothing against Marisol. I love Marisol. It'd be great to see her defend as well. I'm not going to be sad if she ends up defending the belt. But I really think Griffin can pull this out.
Gotcha. And Corey Cameron.
I'm gonna go with Marisol McKee. I love Griffey Nooms. I picked him to win the tournament. I'm still gonna boast
Me too.
my predictions and say I picked him to win the tournament before the tournament started. But this is purely just from my heart. I want to see Marisol stay with that belt as long as she can, and hold on to that thing just for the women in the Schmoedown and for the people of color in the Schmoedown, just to hold the belt, hold the singles belt. So for that reason, I'm going to go with Marisol McKee. I will not be sad on whoever loses. Will be happy for both players if they win. So that's an all. Whoever wins, I don't really care, but I'll be happy for both of them. So I'm gonna go with Marisol though.
And I will say, don't forget, Griffin also has the barbarian helping him out in terms of studying. And as we have seen, he very much almost took Griffin out in that last match. So don't forget, he has him backing him for this match coming up as well, which is a whole boost in terms of, who may win this match.
Can I quickly piggyback on that, Nancy? I just got to say, so both me and Corey had correctly predicted Griffin Newman to win the singles tournament. And I want to reveal a little behind the scenes here that I had a brief interaction with Barbarian in New York where I told him to his face that I thought Griffin Newman was going to win the singles tournament, but that it would be against him in the finals. So
Wow.
stand up and applaud, everybody. And I also
I'm gonna take you to Vegas.
I mean, I think
check the tape.
if you asked either of them, both of them would say, no, we're both going to be in this final match playing against each other.
That was the story going around, and I had no doubts in my mind that that's where it was going. And I will quickly shout out Craig in the chat here that I think I might have said this on our show, Corey, but that I think that it does not matter who you put him up against in that number one contenders match that next year. He's got that. He's going to beat anybody. I don't care if it's Merle, McKee, Newman, whoever it is. I think that he's getting his title shot to kick off next season 1,000%. So,
for sure. And
props to him for what he's done this season.
I mean, not to
Craig's getting his belt at some point.
Yeah. Not to go too far off in a tangent, but also, and not to give too much behind the scenes, but that tournament schedule was very grueling, and I guarantee you there was a lot of brain fatigue happening, probably on both ends, if I'm being honest. So I think with his, with his title shot, or not his title shot, but his number one contender match that he is guaranteed going in with it with a fresh brain and not being so brain fatigued, I think he is absolutely going to win it, whoever it's against.
Yeah, for sure. And we're excited to see it next year with Craig, and can't wait to see what he does. Craig's been awesome. And we appreciate him. I did talk to him when we were at the cantina. I was trying to get him on the show, but we just weren't able to work it out. But we'll get Craig on here. But we know Corey and Nancy, you got to get going. We appreciate you for coming on. Really appreciate both of you. Real quick before you go, plug any shows that you're on. Nancy, I know you're like a free agent right now. We need to talk later. Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk to you later. We'll get you on some other shows. But before we go ahead and plug all your social media, any shows you'll be on. Go ahead, Nancy.
So I am on, or you'll find me at PL_Band-Aid on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me over on, there's always a motorcycle going by. You can find me on a film on tap over on Chattelbash's channel from the FCL. So Chattelbash Reviews, you can find that on YouTube and also on Spotify for podcasts. And also on the JCast Network, which actually just dropped today, is a show that me and Andres, aka Galagos from the FCL, that we're doing together. We're reviewing the show Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. It's a show
that show.
Yes, I'm absolutely obsessed with the show. So I finally corralled Andres to do the show with me, where we are reviewing the full series, one season per episode. So you can find that. Nice. That is up now, finally.
Love that show.
That's awesome. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. I've had a couple of those, let me tell you.
If you have not watched the show, I definitely watch it. It's amazing. It is a musical show.
It's a great show about West Covina, California.
Oh, actually, I
That's where
live right
that's
down.
where Josh
Really?
lives.
Is it really? Is it really?
Yeah.
Is it?
No, it's based in
Oh,
West Covina.
I'm down the street from West Covina.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So,
That's where Josh
shit!
lives.
I just told everywhere I live. God damn.
All right, Corey.
Corey Cameron.
Yeah, Corey,
What about
what
you?
show? What show are you on again? I forget.
You can find me along with my co-host Dagan SB over there on any given Schmoe day every Sunday on the Let's Get Ready Twitch channel. We re-air on Monday is on the LGR YouTube. Any given Schmoe day, we take live phone calls from the fans in the chat. We love interacting with the people. And you get to talk to people like Thomas Harper, who we had on last week, and ask him a question live. So this coming Sunday will be our spectacular recap. You'll get to hear most of my thoughts on everything that goes down this Saturday. We'll have possibly one more show after that for the rest of the year. But yeah, we started back in February, and it's been a long year. So very happy to kind of just end this year and relax my brain, just probably like everybody else. But that is, again, Sundays at 5:30 Eastern, 4:30 Central. You can do the math on the other time zones. Otherwise, you can find me at Corey Cameron Visuals on Instagram, Corey Cameron Viz on Twitter, where you'll see all my photography work here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Great photography work. Check them out.
Yes,
Make
yes,
sure to
he
give
does.
them a follow.
I'm still
Really
trying to
good
get
with
shot
that.
by Corey Cameron. As far as
I don't want to get shot by Corey Cameron. First off, I don't want to do that. But make sure to give Dagan and Corey a follow on the show on the Let's Get Ready Network, the Twitch. They do a great job. I've been listening to them since they were on. What's that? Oh, that app called that we used to all be on. Yeah,
Right,
Stereo that nobody uses now. But that was they've done a great job. Super proud of both of them. Been for the year, and Nancy, obviously proud of you for everything you've done in the community, and appreciate you being around. Can't wait. Are you going to be at Spectacular, right, Nancy?
Yeah, I'm going to be there. Who here is actually going to be at Spectacular? Yay! Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sad.
My ugly mug's gonna be running around.
Yeah, Alimony could be there, but she just refuses to start a fight with her family.
You guys, yeah, exactly. That's
Double
exactly
D's
what
my
it is.
carry-on.
Yeah, if I can put myself in it.
No, you
Yes.
are my carry-on. You.
Can I just say I'm so ready for
Sorry,
Spectacular to be over, so we can be like, who all's going? And I just have to sit here and go.
Sad.
Well,
I hear
Nancy,
you. I hear you.
Corey, thank you guys. I know you guys had a hard out like 5 minutes ago, but thank you guys so much for coming on, and we'll chat. We'll chat
Yes.
soon.
I'll see you guys Saturday.
You already
Talk to you
know,
soon,
Nancy.
Corey.
Bye.
All right.
Have a
Later,
good
you
night.
crazy kids. Nancy, Corey.
All right, and now we're down to 7. It's we say when we do these shows, we're not gonna go long. We're not gonna do a 3-hour.
I'm ending the
show.
stream the second we
Several
hit 3
hours
hours.
later. Yeah.
Yeah, and exactly. It
SpongeBob
happens
thing.
every damn time. All right, let's go into the next match. Let's go to IG. Let's talk
Well,
about IG.
did
Well,
we
wait
all
a minute. We
get-
didn't do teams, did we?
Yeah.
We didn't all
Oh,
get
okay.
their
I
teams.
apologize. My
Can I go? Can I go first because I need to be a real big shill right now for Griffin Newman
Go ahead,
on
go
this
nuts.
whole team
Sure,
thing.
Alimony. Go ahead.
Spoiler alert.
Because spoiler alert, I'm going King Khan, and I'm going to go King Khan because Griffin Newman is a beast. We saw him up against Bibbs already in singles. I have been, and I'll say the same thing for a singles match when we get to that point. But I have been, one of the reasons why I started religiously watching this season was because I learned that Griffin Newman was drafted first into the league. Before I understood factions, before I understood anything else, I knew Griffin Newman was going to be competing. And the first words out of my mouth when my husband told me was, he's going to run that shit. And that's exactly what he's done and what he's going to keep doing. And I think King Khan is going to do just as amazing. I think people have been kind of giving him a hard rap with the finals match. But I think there's also, again, outside variables that came into play with it. But I think that if he stays focused, that they are a very formidable opponent to Shazam. So, go King Arthur.
Duly noted. So
Allison, are you done? Are you done? Allison, there's a little
Double
stuff on
D
your
had
nose.
it. Double D
No.
had Shazam,
Right there.
and Allison had King Arthur. Dagan, who you got?
Yeah, I think this might. I feel like some people might be thinking Shazam's going to run away with this one, but I actually think it's going to end up being really, really close.
Yeah.
And might even like be the one match that goes into sudden death. I'm not sure we're going to get. I don't think we're going to get a TKO or a KO in any of these matches. To be honest, I think they're all going to be really close, and they're at least going to come down to like who hits their 5. I just don't see anybody beating Shazam right now. I think King Arthur is a really strong team, and again, I think they're going to push them to their limits and may even be decided in sudden death. I think Corey made some good points earlier and on our show that we did about Khan potentially being the weak link here and struggling in that first round a little bit. But Allison, I think had some good points about him maybe proving everybody wrong there and having like maybe his strongest game so far. So I certainly think that could factor in. And there's obviously the thing about Spectacular being the one weakness for Shazam, right? It's their 2 losses, so that might come into play here. But I also think third time's the charm, and I also think this might be their chance to really break that streak of losing at Spectacular. So I got Shazam, but only by a hair.
Oh, geez. I want this to be as chaotic as possible in regards to the faction race. I want this to come down to the very last damn question that's asked between Marisol and Griffey Nooms. So I think for that to happen, I need Shazam to win. Because if King Arthur wins and Kalinowski loses, then we're done, right?
Yeah.
So
Well,
I'm gonna pick Shazam for pure chaotic energy. But I want
Classic Chris.
I want to piggyback off of your point, Dagan. I want Khan to prove a lot of people wrong. I know, like, trust me, I was one of those folks that were like, "Hey, man, I don't know how Khan's gonna do in front of a live setting." I want him to be like, "Chris, shut the fuck up," and I want him to be like that to everybody that's questioned him, and I want him to absolutely bring it and be that guy that we've seen him this year. Khan's not a bad movie trivia person in the Schmoedown. He's not at all. He's actually pretty damn good. And we've seen him do pretty damn good in this thing. Griffey Nooms obviously is fantastic, as we've seen and as we've talked about. But for soul, chaotic energy, and everyone sitting at the edge of their seat, wherever they're at, watching in the country, watching his damn show, that's apparently going to be 7 hours long, I want Shazam. I want Shazam just for the chaotic energy, but I want Khan to prove me wrong too. And if he has to win a belt in the process, rad. Okay, I'm not going to be mad at that. Hell no. Buck, who you got?
This is actually really hard for me. Shazam has been. Thanks, Geoff. Shazam has been dominant all year. Every single one of their matches this year, I feel like they have been in control the entire match. Bibbs and Brendan are like the same person, I swear. That's why their name fits so well. But they they always lose at Spectacular. Their 2 losses have been at Spectacular. So prior history shows that they might lose. I think Khan, like we've said, he's going to basically tell everyone, he's going to show everyone that it was a fluke what happened in that team's tournament final. That he will play phenomenally well. So I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think. I think for most of these championship matches, it's going to come down to the buzzers. Who's going to have control there? Who is going to take control? So I'm just like, this one's really hard, but I also want to see chaos. So I got Shazam.
Geoff, how you feel?
I feel good. How do you feel?
My back hurts from sitting in this bar stool for
Your
2.5
neck?
hours.
Your
My
back?
neck, my back. Continue. Who do you have in Shazam? And what's the name?
King Arthur.
King Arthur. So I've gone back and forth on this, and I do feel like ultimately this is not going to be the belt that Griffin Newman will win that on Saturday. I think that it really is going to be incredibly close. I think it might end up just being Shazam, but I do, because they've been really fucking good. But I also, saying that, I wouldn't be surprised in the least if it's King Arthur. I'm 51-49, and the reason for that is, like, and I put it in the chat there, like, just for perspective. Think about it. Shazam won against Otter Couple in the highest scoring digital match of the era, right? Another 51-50.
That wasn't the highest score. That was 53-48 in the digital.
53-48. I'm sorry, 53-48, which is the equivalent to 51-50.
Nice, sexy numbers, Dan.
Yeah.
Because
I have the chart. It
is the highest. It's the highest. It's the same number as their next title match for if you add it all up.
Yeah.
But they did a perfect match then, right?
Yeah.
Then came their match against Corruption. It was another 50. It was a 51-50, but that was one where they had to go into sudden death. We just have to remember what happened with the buzz around there. What happened with the buzz around? It didn't really go their way that well. They ended up having to win. They had to squeak by on sudden death with that one. That could have easily gone to Corruption, and I wouldn't have been surprised with the way that the matches were being, with the match that was happening. Their second defense against Lightning Time, Shazam didn't win that. Lightning Time just shat the bed. Like, there's really no other way to say that. Ethan went 0 for like in his 2 out of 3 of his title matches this year. They fucked up so royally with things like betting and whatnot. Like, it's and they're collecting the speed round and shit. Like, the point swings in his matches the last 2 title matches, crazy. And people think that he's like still a candidate for Player of the Year. I think that we have to put how good Shazam is in perspective with how those defenses played out. The win was obviously just a straight up motherfucking win of the highest order. But I do think that it will ultimately be Shazam if I had to choose one, but I can easily see it being either. Also,
Right.
In the end, I'm going with what I think is more exciting, which will be Shazam winning, which means that it has to be Griffin winning at the end in order to secure the victory.
Is a defense 11 points at Spectacular? Like, do they get that extra point?
11 points, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
It'd be 11?
I think Frank Janis confirmed that on the rundown a week or so.
It's
ago.
11,
Is it
so
possible for the Mercs to win the faction title?
I think they can tie, if I'm not mistaken.
They could tie.
Yeah, actually no, they can, but it has Shazam has to win by knockout, and I think Mike has to lose by. I have it all written down somewhere on my.
Yeah, I've been looking at the points. I'm trying to figure this out.
Yeah, so listen to this. So if Griffin loses, just a flat up loss, that's 11 points, and that'll put it at 94. That'll put it at 94 for Corruption. If King Arthur loses, it's still 93-94. If Mike loses by TKO or KO, it brings down to 93. Then it's 93-93, and then it goes to their records, which would mean
No. I'm asking, can the Mercs win the faction title?
Yes,
they can, but it's another one of those, like, a knockout plus a TKO is the way to go.
Watch this Saturday on Speaking of Schmoedown. I will break down the whole scenario.
Nice plug, Double D.
Double D, I'm going to be too drunk to watch a show Saturday.
Like, I'm just trying to figure this out. So, say that the Mercs win. So, there's 11 points. That gives them the 92. And say both Finstock Exchange matches, they lose via knockout. That's -2, right? But then you still have Corruption with their matches.
Let me see if I can bring up the one scenario. I'll do a little taste test for everybody.
Just because I think that would be utter chaos if the Mercs somehow win the faction title on Saturday.
That'd be nuts.
Because
it's been Corruption Exchange. That's the discourse. Corruption Exchange, Corruption Exchange. And if the Mercs win it,
that'd be rad.
That would be nuts.
In the meantime, Suge, who you got?
Look, I have been sitting here listening to Allison talk about Griffey Newman's, King Khan, Griffey Newman's. I'm not gonna lie to you, she's kind of convinced me that they're gonna lose. That Shazam is gonna be okay. Shazam's winning and retaining the belts at Spectacular.
Look at you
and when they do
cutting your
win,
promo.
I am calling her on Instagram, and I am gonna.
I'm gonna FaceTime Allison the second the match ends.
Yeah. Oh, I got her on Facebook. I'm FaceTiming the shit out of her.
I'm gonna call
That's
her with her
fine.
phone number.
Yeah.
Like
You
just
don't
straight
have
up.
my number.
Not yet.
Okay, so you have to.
Wait until Friday night when we're at some parties. Oh, you're gonna be getting all the face calls. Look at Chris. He's
Actually,
drunk.
Allison, for that reason, do not give me your number till Saturday morning. But Dan, do you have that thing pulled up?
Yeah, so if you have to hit, So Shazam has to win by knockout. Marisol just wins the singles title match, and Robert Parker wins by knockout. They'll give the Mercs 93. Corruption will get 93, and the Dungeon will get 87. And because of the record, Quirky Mercs will end up winning the faction.
Let's go.
That's crazy.
I want this chaos.
Wow.
I want this chaos.
So that's the only way they could win. So I want to
Okay,
give the whole.
well,
Yo, that's gonna be nuts. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's just a little preview.
Or-
Mercs take it. I don't.
Or Finstock Exchange could win by a massive margin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But it
if-
really all depends on the singles. That's all.
Yeah.
That's everything. That's all it's gearing towards is the singles.
That's why I'm glad it's last.
So we did.
watch it
Star
be
Wars.
first.
Did we do-
Watch Christian shit the bed and put it first. Oh, he'd be so angry.
You know.
And Roka
No,
Morrow
he
is
wouldn't
like,
do- okay, he wouldn't do that.
Yeah, no. We should have Roka last there because I mean, who better to emulate how you're going to put the order in of what's important than this past year's Oscars? And just yeah, let's just end it on the Chadwick Boseman of the Schmoedown. Let's do it. Oh shit! It was the old guy who won.
It was the old white dude. I heard he was still good in that movie though. Inner Geekdom.
yes, Inner Geekdom.
Mike
Moving
Kalinowski.
on.
Mike Kalinowski and Robert Parker. I'll start with this one because I'm pretty confident in it. Again, for pure chaos, and I think my own bias. I think Mike's gonna take this. It'll be very, very close. It'll be a tight one, and I don't think it's in my own fictional world I'm creating right now. It's not Robert Parker's time, and I think it's gonna be Mike, and then Suge to emulate another conversation that we had on I think it was Spin from the Real or Schmoe Me the Real, one of those. Like if it's up to me, like Mike wins like haha 3 defenses, and then Kevin Smith comes out. And
God damn you, Chris! You took what I was gonna say,
and it's a whole thing, and then we're all like, and then the Globe Theater flips, like the entire building just flips over, like that's but that's my
if
fantasy world.
Kevin Smith walks out after that match, then that
Either way,
match
either way.
becomes either
Yeah.
way that match.
I think
Like,
he walks out either way. Whoever wins.
Yeah.
No, that's what we
think
think.
so, too.
I think he walks out no matter what.
He
but-
turned his heel on a Robert Parker.
But if it's Mike, it means more
It does.
because
It does.
because of what he did to him at Spectacular, what Mike did to him at Collision, and they were supposed to have that third match, and then everything happened. I think if Mike wins and Kevin Smith walks out, I think the place loses. I think people are going to cry.
And Christian will do this. Christian is no longer going to be hindered by whatever rules he set up this year. He could be like, Smets is back, and he's going to go for a title immediately. Like that's how I feel like, if that
William
were to
Harold.
happen.
Kevin Smets walks out, and his very good friend Paul gives him a title.
that would be crazy. That would be WWE freaking nuts.
And it's gonna happen right now. Oh my god!
This match is now a
Right.
triple threat. No.
That is our 6th match. That is our 6th match.
That would actually if
I do
that
feel
would-
like there is a 6th match that we're not expecting that's going to be the use of that that offer there, but like We don't know actually. It could just be 5 because that's a long fucking day too, guys.
Yeah.
Like that's such a long day.
I was thinking about
Yeah,
that
I don't-
earlier, and
It's gonna.
it's gonna be like 12 hours at the goddamn theater. It's gonna be
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Only because there's a pretty obvious place for. Firstly, I want to apologize for being red. I don't know what happened to my
You're in a
webcam here. I'm
giallo
gonna
film,
have to.
dude.
You're pissed,
Yeah.
Dagan. You're fucking
It's
red
just-
with
it's just-
anger.
It just randomly happened in the middle of the show here. I don't know what's going on, but I did want to say.
Now I'm red.
Yeah, right. I did want to. Okay, now I've completely lost my. Now I've completely lost my train of thought. But sorry, what were we talking about again? All right, my Smets and Parker. This one for me, I'm gonna pull a Suge on this one because I haven't. I've been on a few of these pre-shows already this week, and I haven't revealed my pick for this yet, and I'm waiting for my own show to do that. So if you wanna, there's a couple of these I might pull a Suge on and be like, I can't decide. So you guys will have to
plug
tune
in
in.
your own shit.
You guys will have to tune
Good
on
job.
to Let's Get Ready Network on Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern to find out who I have for this one. So
8 p.m. Eastern. Oh well, a lot of people will be in LA. Never mind.
yeah, we got a whole thing we're doing. So yeah,
Nice, awesome. That's cool.
Who hasn't gone yet? Who hasn't revealed their choice? Brandon.
I got Robert Parker. I think Robert is he's so focused on this, like he's been wanting it. You've definitely noticed it in the way that he's been playing. So I just think Robert's finally going to get that IG title because I think Kaiser wants to help out Gucci. I think Kaiser wants to help out Gucci to make sure that corruption does not win. And then because if Robert takes that IG title, it's a very easy path for Gucci to win the faction title. He just has to win one of those other matches. So I have Robert Parker.
Duly noted. Allison, hit me.
Oh, Robert Parker. I think he wants it more. I think just from watching Kalinowski kind of play, he's very comfortable in he's comfortable in what he knows. And I know he knows IG and I know he's defended twice, but I think he's still on that whole playing with house money kind of thought process. So I don't think he's as ready for the dynamite that Parker's going to be packing.
Word.
Yeah. And Cal, when you said Allison hit me, have you not seen her Instagram videos of her lifting? She will
Allison
send
will
you
beat
to
the
orbit.
shit out of me.
Yeah,
but
she will
she-
send
she
you to
don't
that.
have
Like,
that.
ooh, look at those guns.
Jeff, you had something before we go to Double D?
Yeah, I it turns out I also did not give my prediction for that one there, but Double D, you go first.
Oh, we're going to be here for
'cause
another
I haven't
45
heard you
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have Robert Parker simply because he in his last 3 matches he hasn't gone to the final round. He's either TKO'd or knocked out his opponent. So I feel like Robert wants it more. So pretty much all you guys are saying. But yeah, I think Robert Parker is going to win. But it's going to be very close because I looked up Mike's overall stats and it's really close. I mean, they're pretty much tied for like round 1 and round 2, but betting round it could be like the betting round, the speed run are pretty much the toss ups. But I think Robert Parker is going to win it eventually.
Don't get me wrong, man. That Kalinowski Moses match makes me a little iffy. Makes me a little iffy.
that was I actually had Armu winning that one, but she was setting up to win. But obviously, he just had a tough 2 questions. So
Amadou gets 1 question right. He's the IG champion. We're talking about him and Parker right now.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So who the hell knows? Barry B. Benson, who you got?
Yeah, Barry B. Benson. You like jazz? I gotta say, overall, it's Parker for me, man. Like, here's the deal. I think that as of right now, without question, Kalinowski is the greatest IG player of all time. Dan Murrell is the greatest player of all time, right? Dan Murrell is a 5-time singles champion. And Winston brought this up one time when we had him on to one of those Friday Schmoe Me the Reels. There's a reason why he's a 5-time GOAT, why he's called the GOAT, but it's 5 times. It's because he's had to lose, even though he's the GOAT. Even as the GOAT, you lose. And I think that's going to happen this time. It's going to go to Parker. I can't. I know the fire that's in Parker right now. I know how hungry he is for it, and I know the fucking insane level of work that he's putting into this. And obviously, saying all this isn't to discount the kind of work that Kalinowski is putting into his study either. We know that he's great. Like I said, of IG, he's the greatest of all time. Parker is not the greatest of all time. He will be. He could be.
Yep.
But right now it's Kalinowski. But on Saturday, it's Parker.
I don't remember what stream we had. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. We were on it like 1 a.m, and Parker's like, I can hang for like 30 minutes because I got to go watch a movie at 2 a.m. And I'm
no, he's taking every fucking opportunity. Like you know how we heard from Harper earlier of he took a whole month off because of brain. He's been like fried.
Yeah.
Parker takes these time. Parker takes the time to jump into these streams. That's his break. He's able to take these moments, recalibrate, reset, and get right back into it. Mm-hmm. He's a fucking machine. And that machine is hungry, and it can only be fed with one thing, and that's fucking belts, dude.
Okay, Conor McGregor.
That was some real shit.
Shug, you look like an alcoholic stepfather with that 5 o'clock shave.
Thank you.
Shug, did you tell us who you got?
I'm going Mike Kalinowski. I think he's good. He's going to go down as the greatest IG player of all time. And if he wins this match, I think you gotta nominate him for Player of the Year. I mean, he's done a really good job.
He already has
100%.
So
between I think teams and singles, yes.
Yeah, 100%. I think Mike takes this. It's going to be a close match. Though. I don't think it. I think Buck was the one that said that we won't see a TKO or KO in this spectacular. I think there's going to be one. I and somebody said that. Okay, Dagan said that. I think there's going to be one, but I don't think it's going to be an IG. I think this is going to be a very close match. But it just sucks. I'm just not excited for it as I should be, other than unless Kevin Smith shows up at the end. Other than that, I'm not. You're not really
I think
like
Kevin will be at Spectacular, but
I just don't think. Ryan, I just don't think anybody. I just don't think anybody's excited about this match.
I know Ryan Chasen said something in the chat earlier saying Smets was ready to compete. He doesn't have to compete yet, Ryan. He just needs to be there.
Exactly. Set something up for next season. He's still got a few
long-term booking, Ryan. We're thinking long-term.
Yeah, long-term.
That's what we're doing.
Long-term. That's why we got Allison on the show.
I don't know if we'll see him on stage.
Is that what that
Who knows? Shug, I know you said that we might get a TKO or KO on this show. Is it Dan and Roca? And give me your prediction for it.
No, it's not Dan and Roca.
Oh shit! What the?
I think it's the one match I'm not even looking forward to. But I will say, I'm assuming Dan's gonna win this matchup. I think Dan's just gonna blow by Roca, and Roca's got a lot of things he's doing. Whatever. I don't think it's gonna be I think it's gonna be more entertainment value. Probably throwing jabs at each other. So I don't expect much trivia. I just expect more jabs, more talking. So
more showmanship.
5 rounds. It's 5 rounds, unfortunately.
I have 4 words for this prediction, and that is Merle because fuck Roca.
Yo,
let's go, Allison. I'm the exact same.
Holy God,
that's a little harsh. I would say that Roca, Roca hasn't won every match he's played this year. But if we actually look at the level of play, he played spectacularly this year. However, Dan said it in the obviously, awkwardly scripted clip that they filmed when it was announced it was him. To paraphrase Bane, okay? Roca merely visits the 5 rounds. Dan was born in it. He breathes it. He lives it. All right. I think that ultimately Dan might take it. Dan's also shown he's human this year. Like someone else said that earlier. Dan has shown that he can be cut, and he can be cut hard. But I think that ultimately it's going to be a Dan show. And I think that Roka is going to do admirably, but I think it's going to ultimately go to Dan.
Buck, who you got?
You remember the stream that we had how I went off on Roka for like 5 straight minutes?
Yeah,
So come on, it's Dan.
You're all so
Look,
fucking
Buck-
aggressive. Jesus.
Buck mirrors my sentiments. I said it so he didn't have to.
You're all so aggressive. My God.
See, Brandon went nuts too. And I think this was before we knew it was Merle too.
Yeah, it was. It was the Friday after he had his whole special, and I was like, "This is."
Oh, right.
I was like, "This is stupid." I hope Dan beats him via knockout in a 5-rounder.
Wow.
Oh, damn, Dagan, are you just as mad at
Who
Roka
is
as
he,
Allison?
Ethan Irwin in a 5-rounder?
No, I'm not actually mad at Roka. I will be honest here. I know that he's a very controversial figure.
You get there eventually.
No, you can. I know what you're saying.
It's late, guys. I think I love John Roka. I'm going to be honest with y'all, and he's somebody that got me into watching the Schmoedown initially. It was the Roka and Mance Bestman incident that really got me hooked on this whole thing. So, we got to pay the man the respect that he deserves. I think that the Schmoedown wouldn't look the way it does today without Roka and the fact that he introduced like this whole character element to the game with the outlaw and everything. And so I'm a big fan of Roka, and I still will be. And I think I might be one of the few people to say that I'm going to be missing him next season and in future seasons. I get why people don't like him. He said some shit. We've all said some shit. So I gotta give him all the respect because I'm a big fan. But all shilling aside here, I do think I'm picking Dan on this one. All that being said, it's Dan. It's spectacular. That's a winning formula, and I think that Roka is maybe not like as prepared for this as Dan might be. There's some good arguments for against Dan, maybe because he hasn't missed he has missed like 3s and 5s recently. So, but I think this was the match for him to sort of turn it around, and I do think it'll be close. Another one that I think people might be like, Merle's just going to run away with it, but I think it's going to be close, and I hope it ends with Merle saying, "I'm sorry, I love you," and then hitting his 5-pointer and winning. So, wrestling fans get that.
Hell yeah. Double D, who you got?
All you guys are nuts. Roka's going to win by knockout. Dan Merle's going to be his little bitch to slap. Roka's just going to slap his dog right in front of his face.
Whoa, Dan, calm down.
I'm just joking. I do think Dan Merle's going to win this. I just wanted to say that just to go against you guys. But no, I think Dan Merle is going to win. I think I'm just going to repeat what you guys are saying. Dan Merle's, I think, is the stronger of the two. And yes, he's human. Dan Merle's human, but I think Dan Merle's the better of the two. So, and I think the whole league wouldn't be the way they are without these two competitors. So for them to end on this is kind of fitting.
I will also echo essentially almost everyone's 2 cents. I have Dan. I think this is going to be the most playful of the matches we're getting at Spectacular. I forget who it was. I think it might have been Dagan. It's going to be a lot of like shit talk, and they're going to be, busting each other's balls the whole time. Roka may be taking this a tad bit too seriously, he may take it a tad bit too seriously at the show. But I have Dan, and who knows? This may be a swan song for the both of them. At least Dan for a while. But last match, and then we'll get the hell out of here. The singles title match. Marisol McKee, Griffin Newman, and depending on how you had your other predictions go, this may be the faction title. So, who y'all got winning the title of both singles and faction? Allison, you have the biggest grin on your face, so we'll start with you.
It's going to be Griffin Newman.
Shocker.
Look, I'm just saying, I think Marisol's a good player, but he's already beaten her once. Because we know that, and even Adam Collins has said she was the A member of Deception, and they lost to King Arthur. So Griffin Newman's already beat her once. And Nancy, I think, had said that, or it was someone had said that too. It's not. It's true. And I've been watching him get so much like hate or Buck when he gets drafted. Who? Like
Who? Who? Are you a fucking owl?
Fucking owl.
Guy is and he's unstoppable. And we've seen him, the questions that they got in that semifinal match between him and Bibbs were wild, and we can call it whatever it is. But I think he can work a crowd. Look what he did to Josh Horowitz in New York City. Yeah. Like that, talk about getting in someone's fucking head in a match. Like that was insanity to see live. And now he gets to do it in a 5-rounder. And I think that he is just going to crush it. I think it's going to go to it. It'll probably go all the way to the 5 points. I don't see it as a KO or a TKO, but I think he's walking out of Spectacular with, if he's not walking out with 2 belts, he's at least walking out with that singles champion belt.
All right, Dagan, who you got, dude?
Well, I'm really pissed off right now because I just see that Carlos Correa has signed with the Yankees, so I'm really mad. As a Yankee fan, sorry to break the news.
Oh shit!
God damn it! Anyway,
the whole stream, you ruined it.
Kill it, end it. Anyway, so bring us back down to earth here. This Griffin Newman Marisol McKee match, I am super hyped for as somebody that was in New York, saw both of these players live on stage, and I think that they both bring such a presence to these live events, and it's just going to be amazing to see them face off in the main event here. But I think quickly before I make my pick, we talked about like the potential of a 6th match on this card, and I don't think it's going to happen here. I have a pretty good case to be made for Paulo Yama's cash-in happening at this potential live event that Christian has announced for February 19th in Dallas, which just so happens to be Winston's hometown on Winston's birthday weekend. So Paulo Yama potentially challenging Newman or Marisol at that live event, trying to win that title for Winston on his birthday after everything that's happened with with the faction, and it looks like he's sticking with Winston and Oyama are sticking together. So
will the Schmoedown pay to fly someone out from Ohio?
Yeah.
Or will they set up a GoFundMe? Anyways, let's keep going.
Okay, so Dagan, who you got?
I think I'm going to go Marisol on this one. I haven't really officially 100% committed to a pick on this one because, again, it's like really a toss-up for me. I think it could go either way. Said that a few times already, and I think that's the case for all these matches, really. But I just think Marisol has something really special at these live events. And not to say that Griffin doesn't. I think Griffin is going to absolutely give her a run for her money here. But I also know Griffin will have just played a 5-round matchup earlier in the evening, and we've seen how that can sort of affect players' gameplay later on by playing 2 matches at Spectacular. So I'm going to go Marisol here, just edging out Griffin. I think it's going to come down to the 5-pointers, and maybe that being the case of her hitting her 5 to win the match. So I'm going to go Marisol, but I could definitely see Griffin taking it because he's just been incredible this season. So, all right, try to steer the ship back on
Double D
into the harbor here.
Yeah, I think. This is a tough call. It's like 50, maybe. I'm not gonna say 51-49. I think this is maybe 55-45. I think Griffin Newman's gonna win. I think he's a lot stronger individually, and Marisol, while she is strong, she has a little weakness in the first round. So I think that is what's ultimately going to happen is that Griffey Newman's going to get the lead in round 1, and he's going to keep that lead all the way through. And obviously, if things happen in the betting and the speed round, that could be the place where it changes. But I think Griffey Newman's going to win this belt.
Word. And I'm
Good
assuming
answer.
the folks picking Griffey are saying that the exchange will take the faction title.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think as soon as that happens, it's done. It's over.
And Dagan, you have corruption?
Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, it depends because I haven't made a pick.
Taking the team's belt.
Yeah, I think if Shazam wins here, then that's going to put. Yeah, I think that'll. Then I'll go with corruption. Yeah, I said it earlier in the season. I think that corruption is the team to beat in the faction race again this season. So I wouldn't be surprised if it goes that way. But I would. Honestly, I would love to see the exchange take it because that I think is a little bit more entertaining to me and could result in some serious boos from the audience. It's like it feels like if corruption wins, if Marisol wins, everybody's gonna go nuts. But if Griffin wins, there'll be a reaction, but people are gonna be really booing if they win the title. So we'll see. But
Based on
also, I
the
think
this week.
Also, I think I got trolled by
boos,
Twitter. I don't think Correa signed anywhere
Nice.
yet. I think I just got super trolled by Twitter. So
Okay.
Yeah, Dagan, I was searching everywhere. I was searching all. I was like, okay, good, okay.
Okay.
he was trending. He was trending for a
I
second. there. I got
overreacted
really
for
scared.
no reason.
Yeah, I did too. Please,
Suge.
Yankees, come on, Cashman. Fire
Suge.
Cashman if he does that. By the way.
Who you got?
Well, I said there's going to be a KO or TKO at the Spectacular,
Oh, hell on earth.
and it's in this match
What?
because like Jeremy Miller has said, Griffin hasn't had an amazing first round. And here's another point: how many times has Griffin Newman played the buzzer round?
Valid. It's valid.
How many times has Marisol played the buzzer round?
Once.
Twice.
Twice.
Oh yeah,
Twice.
I forgot. Yeah.
Marisol will defend with a TKO at Spectacular.
No.
Wow.
TKO maybe. TKO
I
maybe.
said TKO.
Okay, I thought you said TKO.
I just-
Then you said TKO. Yeah, okay.
I said
TKO.
TKO.
I just can't see Marisol going 3 title matches in a row, not touching a 5-pointer.
So Suge, you have
Well, Jeff,
corruption
get
taken.
ready for it.
You have corruption taking the faction.
Absolutely. I was going to take Kirky Merckx, but with my picks, it doesn't make sense. So,
Yeah. Kirky Merck isn't a faction, so maybe you should figure out how
Corky
you speak.
Merckx, you
Triple B.
fucking Brussels sprout.
Build back better. Who you got?
You know, if I wanted to hear, you know what, Jeff? If I wanted to hear bullshit, I would just rather listen to a fart than hear you. Okay, go ahead.
Suge, we're gonna party so fucking hard this week.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Tell me who you got so we get the hell out of here.
Oh man, I'm gonna make it all the way up to that 3-hour mark right now. No, it's gonna be. I love Marisol. I love the way that she plays. I love seeing her stage presence. Like she had a great year. The opponents that she's faced and she's won against, they stumbled hard in both of those title matches. Ethan with probably the most significant title match swing in the history of the Schmoedown that's not Paul Oyama versus Ben Bateman. That was truly like that was some shit that happened to him there with that 10-point swing. But then comes Chance. Chance got spoof movies first time it was ever spun, and it was difficult as shit. Wasn't even just like more of the surface layer stuff, because getting some of the harder questions, regardless, doesn't matter if it was something that wasn't touched much. They still went deeper. That was a very, very difficult round 2 for a very like unknown category. And then he got a pretty difficult round 5 5-pointer. Griffin Newman to me is someone who has taken this seriously enough that a buzzer isn't going to be the thing that stops him. I think that Marisol also hasn't been someone who has been extraordinary at round ones. Against Ethan, Marisol was down like 2 points out of round one. She didn't have a perfect first round, and she still won there. She didn't have a perfect first round. Did she have a perfect first round against
She
Chance?
didn't have a perfect round in September, which was I believe so in September, and she with her match against Chance, she didn't have a perfect round either.
Yeah. So she also doesn't go perfect. So they're about tit for tat there. I think that ultimately it's going to come down. I just think that Griffin Newman is going to play. I don't think it's going to be a KO. I don't think it's going to be a technical knockout. I think that it's going to go down to the fives maybe, but I ultimately think that it's going to be Newman. Newman's going to win. And even if Mike Kalinowski somehow wins the IG and King Arthur loses, it's going to be Griffin Newman. Griffin Newman is going to win, and Finstock Exchange is going to just stroll off into the night with the singles title belt and the faction title. Like, that's it.
Buck, do you agree with that sentiment?
Pretty much, yeah. I think Griffey Nooms, downtown Griffey Nooms, of Draft Day fame, will end up winning this match. I think Marisol's going to miss her 5-pointer because she hasn't answered a 5-pointer in a round 5 match. I think
she has. Yes, she has. In May, she answered her 5, and she answered her 5 in March.
No. In a 5-rounder.
5-rounder. Okay,
no, because her 5-rounders, she never had to even answer. So in one of those cases, a 3-pointer.
I say that she's going to
yes, she's answered a 3-pointer in all but 2 of her matches. That includes 5.
Just talking about.
Wait. Is this true, Allison?
Well, technically, I reach once I finish the month of November. I'm allowed to drink again.
I'm just trying to plan our next drinking stream. That's all. Sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. Finstock Exchange has been the best faction all year. They just take a look at their win-loss record. Like, it's not even close. The fact is, they've had the best season in terms of an overall faction. I think Corruption's been riding on the back of Mike and Marisol. Dungeon had a good first half of the year. They've fallen off. Quirky Mercs was Shazam and Andrew. Literally, that's been their faction the entire year. Is those 3. But the Finstock Exchange, like, overall, everyone has contributed. I said that Griffin Newman will lose his title match, and I think I think that it's going to light a fire under him. He's like, I'm not losing the second match. I'm not gonna lose it. Like, I think he's probably gonna take all the time that he can in between those 2 matches. It's going to be studying because he wants that belt. I think he wants that singles belt. And I have Griffin Newman for that singles title, and I have Gucci taking the belt for Faction of the Year. Faction of the Year. And yeah, there will be a lot of booze, of people booing, and then a lot of drinking of booze afterwards.
Yeah. When Dagan said there's gonna be some serious booze, I'm like, for the whole fucking week, there's gonna be some serious booze.
On some real shit. Now, this entire run of Spin from the Reel, that since the show started last summer, I've been king shill for Corruption. Absolute king.
Really?
And it's as if, like, I think Party in the chat, he said it earlier, that as many times as Allison has championed Griffey Nooms, he had championed Adam Collins.
He was Adam Collins shield number 1 last year.
I just want to real quick with being a Griffey Newman shill. I was a Griffey Newman shill before I even knew what any of this was.
Who?
Like, exactly. So I like to think of myself as like the hipster fan that, like, before I even like got this deep into it, I was like, that guy's gonna fucking take it. Only because, and I didn't know anyone else. I just knew how good Griffin Newman was. But I just wanted to throw that out there.
Word.
We're all the ones like, who the fuck is Griffin Newman? And you're the one person over there like, what the fuck is the Schmoedown?
Yeah.
You fucking nerd.
That's exactly what it is.
That was Buck. That was Buck over there.
Yeah.
He
Dagan,
has.
you heard about it. Yeah.
Yeah,
You heard about
Jeremy.
what happened that night.
Jeremy, you nailed it right on the head, like Bateman corruption guy. I championed Adam Collins. If Party was shield number one, I was or if Party was shield number one, I was shield number two.
You were co-chair of the shill committee.
Yes, of Adam Collins. Yes, 100%. And I wrote that train until my man just like disappeared one day. I'm kidding. But
Wow!
I think the
I want to see Cal's face when he sees Shannon. I just want to see him just like giddy as a schoolboy. Like, oh
she
my
was
God,
on
it's
Spin for the
Shannon.
Real not too long ago. Again, thanks Suge for being the hookup on that. But this main event is tearing me into pieces because this entire season I've been an undercover low-key exchange shill. And I have my TKO shirt in my closet. And
You better wear that on Saturday.
I am I've been torn and I've been for the record, all people in the chat, I'll expose my secret now. I love the exchange. I love Rick Radis. I think Rick Radis is great. I can't wait to see more of him in season 9.
Clip it out.
But
clip it out.
And don't show him for the love of God. But I have Griffey Nooms beating Marisol McKee and taking the faction title in the process. And it'll be a tight one. I don't think it'll be a knockout or TKO or anything. Or even missing fives. I don't even think it'd be that. It may be Griffey getting his 5 in the end, and all the gold and white balloons start coming from the rafters, and Globe Theater is burnt to the ground because all the people are going to be pissed that they were all wrong about the exchange. It's gonna be this whole thing, and then I'm gonna be like Superman, like unbuttoning my shirt into my TKO shirt under it. It's gonna be a whole thing.
I think the perfect analogy for you is that Homer Simpson clip, which is you going back into a bush and then coming back out.
Yes, and I'm gonna come up with my exchange shirt on it. That's exactly what's
that's
gonna be.
the perfect analogy for you.
If either faction wins, great. Krista wins at the end of the day. I just think that Griffey Nooms will end his season with 1 loss on his record, and it'll be in teams earlier in the night. I think that's it, personally.
Chris, I gotta say, I'm surprised. I was expecting one of your usual, like, it's so hard. Who do I pick here?
You should have saw me before
That was
the show
2 hours
started.
before the stream. That's why he was late to joining all of us in the stream, is because he was coming down from that whole moment.
I knew this conversation was inevitable, and I had to talk myself into somebody.
Prepared for it, yeah.
Yeah.
You had 3 hours to get to it too.
Right. I was like,
He did it all in front
I
of
was
his
thinking about this
mirror.
whole time.
All in front of his mirror in the bathroom too, so he could stare at himself and like into his own soul.
I was talking to
as
my
he-
roommate's cat. I'm like, who do I got? Nooms or Marisol?
Who you got?
Yeah, who do you got? But with all that being said, 3 hours later, I said it's gonna be 3 hour cap. We got there. Thank you all so much in the chat for hanging out with us over the last few hours. All the folks that have came through, watched us for a little bit, or if you're just watching us now, thank you so much. To all the folks on screen that joined us, Double D, Dagan, Allison. I know y'all haven't been really rocking with, or haven't even been on Schmoe Me the Real all year, but we appreciate y'all coming on for our big, spectacular discussion bit. And hopefully this will not be the last time that y'all are on this show. To all the folks who were on earlier, Nancy, Corey, the Major, Thomas Harper for swinging by too. Like this was nuts. And Luke from Galaxy Geeks, shout out to them. Make sure you go subscribe to them because they came up. They're relatively new, just like Allison. Galaxy Geeks is relatively new to the Schmoedown space, and they're fucking awesome. So make sure you go subscribe to them, and make sure you subscribe to these folks wherever they're at. Or Dagan, we'll start with you, brother. You already got a halfway plug earlier, but we'll have you plug again. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, Corey gave the plug for our show that we're doing right after Spectacular on that Sunday at 5:30 Eastern over on twitch.tv/LGR Network. And we got a bunch of other shows coming up this weekend on the Let's Get Ready Network as well. Friday, we'll be doing like our pre-show thing, as I mentioned earlier, at 8 p.m. Eastern. Saturday, immediately following Spectacular, we'll be going live on the channel with a whole bunch of folks from Schmoes of the North, which we now have confirmed. That'll be Ben Rayner, Taco, and Daniel. So that'll be a fun panel alongside myself.
Great guys. All great guys.
Yeah, definitely. And Josh and Danny will be doing that show. You know, most of you guys will be in attendance live for the event. But we wanted to sort of provide something for those people that couldn't watch live and could just watch the, through the pay-per-view or through the Patreon. So we definitely wanted to sort of put that out there because, most people will be there, but there'll be some that'll be watching from home. So we wanted to provide some content for those folks as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Double D, where can the folks find you, bro?
Well, you can find me on Saturdays. I'm speaking of Schmoedown on the JCast Network, where I am the data analysis. I usually take a topic on the points that's happened in the Schmoedown, and I explain what it means. Simple as that. And you can also find me on Twitter at Daniel Dolinsky, and you can also find me on TikTok at, I think, Daniel Dolinsky as well. I have a few entertaining videos, one which I'm a tree, apparently.
Duly noted. Allison, what about you, alimony without the divorce?
Alimony without that. I love that this is my brand along with crying. Like, I'm known for two things now, that I cry and my last name rhymes with alimony. It's fantastic. You can find me Saturdays, except for last Saturday and this Saturday, because we didn't do shows, over on Schmoes in the North with Ben Rayner, Ryan Payne, and John DiGregorio on Mount Schmoedown. We got a real cool guest, I think, lined up for the 11th, but I still can't announce it yet. That's gonna let that be Ben Rayner's job. He'll kick me off if I do it too soon, but it's gonna be real exciting. And then you can find me also. I've been hanging over on with the guys over at Flick and Reel. We just did a whole thing on the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man trilogy. Kind of broke that down and our thoughts on it. I'm gonna be on there this Thursday, doing a Hawkeye review, co-hosting with Jesse, since Wingblade will be out in California or he lives in California, but out at Spectacular having a good old time. So come over and hang with us there. That'll be at 9 or 7:30 Pacific time, and I think 10:30 Eastern. So that'll be Thursday night. We'll just talking all things Hawkeye episode 3. And then you can find me on Twitter at Allison Salamoni.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Make sure, if you want motivation, make sure to follow her Instagram. Like, she motivates you.
Instagram.
It really makes you feel lazy. Thanks, Allison.
You can find me on Instagram, Allison_Salamoni, I think is what it is. And then wherever I decide to invite myself on next. Only this time I was invited. So
except this show, you did not have to invite yourself. Let the record show. We invited her last week, but Double D, Dig, and Allison, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us the last few hours.
Yeah, man. Thanks for bringing us on.
No doubt. And thank you to my wonderful co-hosts up at the top for doing this show with me for months. We've been doing this since what, March? February?
No. I think we waited a couple months.
April?
We waited a couple months because Buck and I only started doing our official Schmoe the Money channel sometime in January. And then I didn't personally meet you until like a couple weeks into us doing our original panel stuff. Suge was there.
I think it was May. I want to say May.
If it was either way, it feels like a long freaking time ago.
I think it might have been April. We'll see.
Because I know it was after Free For All because we both did Free For All streams.
Right.
Right. We were going to start then, and we did it like the week after Free For All. So
right.
April.
Show you right.
Late April.
But April. Brandon, where can the folks find you?
Twitter and Instagram, BrandonBuck88. I tweet all things Schmoedown, movies, sports, just all sorts of fun. Going to be at Spectacular. I get there on Thursday. I leave on Monday. Very excited to hang and see everyone live in person, and see how tall or short everyone is, because it's really hard to tell when you're seeing things from the chest up. You don't know if the person is 5'11", if they're 5'2".
Apparently, the dance like 6'6", so
6'7".
According to Gucci, I was 5'10" in New York City, which is fun.
Yeah, I met our guest Thomas Harper in New York, and I can confirm he is very tall.
He's fucking tall.
Yeah, Thomas, you can definitely get that. You can
wait until they get the load of me.
You can also find our channel, Schmoe the Money, youtube.com/SchmoeTheMoney, and twitter.com/SchmoeMeMoney.
Jeff, where can the folks find you, brother?
You could find me. This is my personal.
How many times have you changed your username on this thing?
Well,
I think I've counted 5. It's 5 or 6 at least tonight.
Yeah, it happened a few times. But hey, man, we're in the plug section now, man. So I had to do that. So that's my Twitter handle. I'm very proud with the growth on my own personal Twitter there. I think I just hit over 550 followers, which I feel like is an achievement. I think that a lot of that's due to getting to know a lot of people here, and I guess they seem to want to hear what I have to say or what I retweet. I retweet a lot of things that have nothing to do with Schmoedown too. You can find me there. Same handle for Instagram too, which I don't post on at all ever. But you find our channel, and just thank you so much for this here. It was very fun Monday night version of our Friday night show. Hopefully in the off season we can do a couple of those late night shows just to dick around, because it's fun to do that, man. And of course I'll also be in LA this week. I get in Wednesday in the middle of the day. I'm there until Tuesday, and I know I have a couple of plans lined up for a few different things, but otherwise, like most of the days, they're pretty wide open, because this is the kind of thing where you shouldn't make too many plans, because the situations get very fluid out there. I know that at one point or another, Suge and I are going to compete to see who will party so hard that they have to be resuscitated because their heart stopped.
It's gonna happen.
I can't wait to
It's gonna
referee
happen.
that. I cannot.
Who's
wait.
gonna volunteer to give Suge mouth to?
Me,
Chris's.
but I'll be
Me.
dead first, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Suge, where can the folks find you alive?
You'll be able to find me alive at Spectacular this Saturday, hopefully. We don't confirm that or deny that. But no, you can find me at Suge Knight 323 on Twitch, Suge Knight 1323, and obviously TikTok, where I originated the Schmoedown, fan reaction TikTok thing. Me and Chris was doing TikTok before me, but he was doing funny shit.
But Chris took like a massive
random
break.
trivia
Chris
on
took
TikTok.
a massive.
He does a
TikTok
lot
break.
of. Chris does a lot of random trivia things on there. I've
That
watched
have
some of
that
those, man.
sometimes have to do with movies. Sometimes they don't.
Yeah. Oh, and you can see us just singing DuckTales together, which is still my favorite video of all time. And then you can catch me on Spin from the Real, which I think after this week we're kind of on the off season.
We got a show next week. We will have a show next week. It won't be Monday though.
Damn it, I wasn't gonna be there. But we got a show, but after that we'll be on a little hiatus.
Cool. Send me the link.
Yeah. Go follow my
Allison.
YouTube channel. Yeah, go follow my YouTube channel, Suge Knight 323, where I will be starting doing a podcast. Maybe Schmoedown related, may not. May about me and Buck talking about our feelings. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
Or me talking shit on the Steelers.
Yeah, that too.
Or both at the same time.
But I want to say everyone on the right here in the stream, thank you very much. Appreciate all of you getting to know you over this last year. It's been awesome, and I can't wait to hang out with Geoff, Buck, and Chris, and then eventually Alimony when you make it out here or to a live event. We'll hang out. Dagan, can't wait to hang out with you and Double D. It's always going to be
Someday, man.
seeing
Someday.
just to see you, man. You big old giant. But appreciate everybody in the chat for supporting all of us. Really appreciate it. It's been one of those years, so really appreciate it. Also, go ahead, Chris.
No, and of course you can find me at the letter C Anthony Lopez on Twitter, on Instagram at the letter C _ Anthony Lopez, on TikTok at C Anthony Lopez. I'm on Watt. You can check out my podcast For Chris's Sake, FORCHRIS_SAKE, wherever you find your podcasts. And I was given a message to make sure that I shared this on Watt. We have a review up right now. Matt did a review for Licorice Pizza. It's currently on the channel, so make sure you go ahead and check that out when you give it a chance. Or if you want to know Matt's thoughts on Licorice Pizza. But on Thursday at 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, we will have Matt's review of West Side Story. And if you saw his little bit of a tweet ski about it, he liked it, at least. So make sure
all I want to know is it in the movie? Are there Puerto Ricans?
Yes, everyone white. We'll ask Matt that question later. So West Side Story review coming out this Thursday on the channel. Licorice Pizza is already up on there, but make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, hit the bell for notifications every time we go live, and I'll be at Spectacular this weekend. So if you come and see me, please,
He'll kiss you on the forehead.
Kiss on the forehead. Unless you're Jesse Swift, I'm kissing you right in the mouth. But For Suge, Geoff, Buck, Dagan, Allison, Double D, Luke from Galaxy Geeks, Corey Cameron, Nancy, and the Major Thomas Harper. My name is Chris Anthony Lopez. Don't forget, y'all, spin from the reel, not from the pegs. We'll see y'all next time for another Schmoe Me the Real. Have a good one, y'all.